Fragrant. Really fragrant. Damn, it smells amazing. In the dark forest, a pack of beast spirits stared excitedly at an unconscious girl. This girl emitted a special aura, mysterious and enticing. The scent made the beasts intoxicated, as if biting her flesh would grant them eternal life. Piaoling groggily opened her eyes. Before her were several fierce beast faces, hungry eyes, saliva dripping from their mouths. Holy sh*t? Help! Panic surged instantly, she jumped up and bolted. What the hell was going on? Where was she? Awah! The beasts howled wildly, chasing relentlessly. Tears streaming, Piaoling ran frantically, her mind slowly piecing together memories. She had transmigrated. This was the Lioli continent. The original owner, Piaoling, was the legitimate daughter of the Prime Minister of the Dali Kingdom, born with a celestial vein, one of the 3 greatest talents in the imperial city. But for some reason, she lost all her cultivation overnight, becoming useless and disheartened. She decided to become a nun but was attacked by beasts on the way. Her attendants fled in fear, and the original owner died of fright. Sorting through the tangled story, she could only bitterly smile. In her past life, she had burned the midnight oil competing viciously, only to suddenly die. She thought transmigrating would lead to a healthier life, but instead, she was being hunted by wild beasts. Could it be that I died in the wrong way? Isn't transmigration supposed to come with a golden finger? Where's my system? Ding! Congratulations, host. You have successfully bonded with the silly system. Gagaga. Piaoling was stunned. What? A silly system? Exactly. The system said excitedly, host, you are being chased by beasts. Accept the newbie mission to escape. What mission? She asked anxiously. Kiss awake the sleeping beauty. Piaoling? The system explained, there's a peerlessly handsome man in a cave ahead, cursed into a deep sleep. Kiss him awake, and you'll survive. She glanced back at the beasts chasing her and without hesitation chose the handsome man. The path to the cave is on the left. The system eagerly pointed the way. Go, go, go. She pushed through the thorn bushes, and suddenly the area opened up to reveal a huge cave. The cave was pitch black, like the gates of hell, radiating a terrifying evil aura. Piaoling's eyelids twitched wildly. System, are you sure there's a sleeping beauty in this cave, not some demon? The atmosphere was eerie, definitely not a place a normal person would stay. Positive. The system urged, hurry in and give him a kiss. Hesitating, she stepped into the cave. Surprisingly, the beasts stopped at the entrance, their greedy faces turning to fear, unwilling to follow. Apparently, something inside scared them. Piaoling squinted, this was the only place to hide from the beasts. She gritted her teeth and walked inside. Darkness enveloped her, she couldn't see her hand in front of her face as she groped forward. After a turn, a stone hall appeared, its walls adorned with flickering lights. In the center lay an ice bier, upon which slept a man. He lay still on the icy slab, dressed in snow-white robes embroidered with noble totems, dimly shimmering under the moonlight. His face was covered by an ornate golden chain mask, mysterious and luxurious. Tall and elegant, exquisitely dressed, quietly asleep yet radiating a commanding aura. Wow, that outfit screams rich and powerful big shot. Piaoling marveled, her gaze involuntarily dropping to the man's long legs. If she could hug those legs, she wouldn't have to fear the beasts. Host, where are you looking? Get to work. The system reminded her. Clearing her throat, Piaoling averted her eyes. She reached out and removed the mask. Ah, so handsome. Beneath the mask was an exquisitely beautiful face, delicate features, phoenix-like narrow eyes that were both gentle and carried a cold, eerie charm, making one weak in the knees. Definitely a stunningly handsome man. She rubbed her hands excitedly. The system urged, quick, kiss him. Taking a deep breath, since he was the sleeping beauty, she went ahead and kissed him. Their lips met, cold and perfect to the touch. Just as she was about to continue, her eyes widened. Something was wrong. The man's lips were icy cold, lifeless. He had his eyes closed, body cold, no heartbeat. Piaoling's heart trembled, she leaned closer to his chest and confirmed, no signs of life. He wasn't asleep, he was dead. The psychological trauma was immense. System, show yourself. Wiping her mouth, she shouted angrily, you made me kiss a corpse. Can you wake the dead with a kiss? The system only emitted faint static before crashing. Piaoling was speechless, looking at the handsome corpse with sorrow. So handsome, yet died young, what a pity. But his lingering powerful aura clearly showed he had immense cultivation in life, still able to intimidate beasts outside even after death. She raised the mask, which emitted a faint glow in the darkness, quite impressive. Maybe she could rely on it to survive? Thinking this, she put on the mask, turned, and walked toward the cave entrance. She cast one last glance at the handsome corpse and stopped in her tracks. He originally wore a mask to hide his face. The dead deserve respect, his last wishes should be honored. She took out a pink handkerchief, tied it into a makeshift mask, and gently placed it over the man's face. Wearing masks is perfectly normal these days. Rest in peace. Then she strutted away with confidence, leaving the handsome corpse lying in the cave, still wearing the mask. At the cave entrance, she put on her exquisite mask. The beasts lurking nearby were about to pounce when they saw her, but the masks on her face made the beasts shudder in fear, unwilling to come closer. Just a single mask held such a powerful deterrent. Yi Piaoling breathed a sigh of relief. The beast's eyes were filled with resentment and grievance, but she turned and left. Shortly after, a figure hurried into the cave. Liang Yun hummed a little tune as he walked, feels so much better after a stomachache. The master suffers from a soul separation curse. Every full moon, his spirit leaves his body for a whole day and night, no breath, no heartbeat, as if dead. This is a secret only he guards by staying inside the cave. If not for his stomach pain today, he would never have left. He reached the ice ledge and froze in shock when he saw the master. The master's mask was gone, replaced by a pink covering. Liang Yun rubbed his eyes, refusing to believe it. Someone must have snuck in while he was gone, stolen the mask, and played this prank on the master. He stared at the pink mask on the man's face, cold sweat breaking out. The master is severely ill, and he wakes up wearing this thing. Suddenly, the man on the ice ledge opened his eyes. His gaze was narrow and deep, cold and sinister yet touched with gentle allure. Liang Yun exclaimed, "Master, you're awake?" Di Xiulan rose, his face expressionless, and removed the mask. With a flick of his fingers, the mask transformed into a soft pink handkerchief. He looked down at it and admired. Such a cute handkerchief. His voice was magnetic and pleasant, but carried a strange, gentle eeriness. A chill ran down Liang Yun's spine as he quickly knelt. "Master, please calm your anger." Di Xiulan coldly stroked the handkerchief. "Liang Yun, explain." Liang Yun hurriedly said, "Master, I had unbearable stomach pain last night and stepped out for a moment. When I returned, you were already awake. I suspect someone sneaked in while I was gone, broke the soul separation curse, and left this token behind." He pointed at the pink handkerchief in Di Xiulan's hand. Di Xiulan sneered, "Ha ha, if he hadn't woken up early, he might have believed it." The moment his lips were kissed, his soul returned. It was a crazy woman, shameless and bold. After kissing him, she jumped away with disdain, cursed loudly, and stormed off in a rage. As she left, she took the mask and put this thing on him. Seeing Di Xiulan's dark expression, Liang Yun curiously asked, "Master, the soul separation curse is incurable. How did she make you wake up early?" Di Xiulan said nothing. Instead, he tossed the handkerchief back to him with a smile. "Find that person. Alive." Liang Yun caught the handkerchief, his heart turning cold. The tone and smile were twisted, and the word alive. It meant, as long as they're breathing. Judging by this, that person had seriously offended the master. Liang Yun sighed. No matter who it was, crossing the master meant a terrible end. After leaving the mountain, Yi Piaoling found a small inn to stay at. The next day, she took a carriage back to the capital. When the carriage stopped in front of the Yi residence, she looked up at the plaque and pieced together the original owner's memories. Her father was the current prime minister, named Yi Liuzhai. The name sounded a bit strange. Yi Piaoling shook her head and sighed, feeling uneasy. The original owner's birth mother had died early. Later, Yi Liuzhai married several concubines. She was the only legitimate daughter. At first, her father treated her well, but after she became useless, a burden to the Yi family, his love vanished like a landslide. She went from being a favored child to someone bullied and ridiculed. Yi Piaoling sighed and stepped through the main gate. The maids and servants inside whispered and mocked her behind her back. The young lady was going to become a nun, but now she's back? Probably so useless that even the temple wouldn't take her. The young lady had once been the family's pride but was now a joke. Nobody in the prime minister's mansion wanted her return. Yi Piaoling didn't care about their words and let them chatter. She headed straight to the Luoying courtyard, her mood heavy. As soon as she stepped through the gate, she heard a man's heart-wrenching cries echoing from the main hall. "My dear young lady, why did you just leave like this? Wah! You're gone, leaving me all alone and abandoned. What am I supposed to do now?" He was crying like a dog who'd lost its home. Yi Piaoling's heart was tangled with emotions. That voice was familiar, it belonged to the secret guard of Luoying courtyard, Huing. After she lost her spiritual power, the servants of Luoying courtyard were gradually withdrawn, leaving only the maid Xiao Shu and the secret guard Huing. Xiao Shu didn't want to stay. Hearing that Yi Piaoling was going to become a nun, she had gone to Lady Lu's quarters. Only Huing remained, loyal and steadfast. Huing was strikingly handsome, the heartthrob of the Yi mansion. Many maids secretly fancied him, and the concubines often stole glances at him. Other young ladies in the mansion had tried to recruit him to other duties, but he refused every time, holding fast to Luoying courtyard. Now that his mistress was gone, he stubbornly refused to leave. God bless, please bring the young lady back. I miss her so much. I'm so restless, I can hardly bear it. Hu Ying's sobs were mournful. Listening to him, men fell silent, women wiped away tears. Yi Piaoling sighed, surprised to find that there were still people in the Yi family who genuinely cared for her. Hu Ying's loyalty was deeply moving. She felt tears prick her eyes as she pushed open the door. Inside sat a tall, handsome man dressed in black, his features sharp as a sword, eyes sparkling like stars, legs crossed casually. In front of him lay a spread of fine wine and delicious dishes. Huing ate while sighing. Ah, my life is so miserable. My young lady abandoned me like this, leaving me all alone in this cold courtyard. Life is truly hard. Yi Piaoling stared blankly. With a deadpan expression, she said, "Isn't life pretty good, though?" Huing nearly choked on his chicken leg. He whipped his head around, face full of surprise. "Why, young lady?" He swallowed his food and stood up, saying, "Young lady, you're back?" "Yeah." Yi Piaoling walked to the table, looking over the dishes, about 20 in total. Huing quickly handed her an empty bowl and chopsticks. "After you left, I was worried sick. I specially set a place for you at every meal." Yi Piaoling smiled wryly. "Thank you." The gesture was quite thoughtful. "It's what I'm supposed to do," Huing said with a smile, pointing to the food. "The maids brought all this. If you don't mind, please try some." The maids who liked Huing, seeing him guarding Luoying courtyard alone, had all sent food to curry favor. Yi Piaoling was hungry, so she ate alongside Huing. Looking at her, Hu Ying's eyes glimmered with a complicated smile. "Young lady, I've truly been waiting for your return. My loyalty to you is witnessed by heaven and earth." Yi Piaoling kept her head down, eating, and casually asked, "Huing, I've always wondered, why are you willing to stay in Luoying courtyard? Don't you think that following me, a useless young lady, is a dead end?" "I do," Huing answered frankly, "following you really is a dead end. But I don't need a future. I just want to be a couch potato." Yi Piaoling immediately understood. Great minds think alike. Looking at Huing, her respect for him grew. In her past life, she was crushed by endless competition before realizing she just wanted to be a couch potato. Huing had been one from the start, saving himself a lifetime of detours. Yi Piaoling couldn't help but give him a thumbs up. Well played. After the meal, Huing went back to lie down. Yi Piaoling returned to her bedroom and took out the exquisite mask, examining it closely. This thing was truly a treasure. Without it, she might have been trapped forever in the beast's cave. Suddenly, a cheerful notification popped into her mind. "Ding dong! Your silly system is now online." Yi Piaoling sneered, "Humph." The system asked, "Host, what's up?" Yi Piaoling cursed, "Your broken system is awful. It tricked me into kissing a corpse." The system hurriedly explained, "That wasn't a corpse, it was a living person." Yi Piaoling questioned, "Living people don't hold their breath, do they?" "This one's different," the system explained. "His soul was out of his body while he was asleep. No breath or heartbeat, but he's still alive." Yi Piaoling applauded, "Impressive. Then why didn't you say so earlier?" The system promised. Poor signal in the cave caused another malfunction. The system has now been repaired and won't mess up again. Yi Piaoling snorted, playing with the mask. The system announced, "Congratulations, host. You've obtained the Regent King's mask and unlocked the main quest." Yi Piaoling's hand trembled, almost dropping it. "What did you say? Whose mask is this?" "The Regent King's." "The Regent King, you mean Emperor Xiaolan of Chonghua Palace?" "Correct, ha ha ha. That's him." Yi Piaoling fell silent. Chonghua Palace was more mysterious than the Imperial Palace. Legend said ancient gods once dwelled there, and mortals were forbidden to enter. Later, Emperor Xiaolan took it as his private chambers. Now, with the young emperor still a child, Emperor Xiaolan was both the Regent King and the Grand Master of Dali, wielding overwhelming power and unmatched cultivation. This is excerpt 4 of 27. Please process the following content according to your logic while preserving the original paragraph structure, line breaks, and overall layout. Return only the processed result. Rumor had it he was eccentric, gentle on the surface but twisted inside, his hands stained with blood, and a chilling smile playing at the corners of his mouth. Pretty disturbing. And that motionless beauty in the cave? It turned out to be the regent himself. Yi Piaoling recalled impulsively kissing him once, then jumping up to curse, What the hell, before grabbing his mask and walking away. Oh, and before leaving, she even put a pink homemade mask on him. Trembling, Yi Piaoling asked, "When will the regent wake up?" The system replied, "He's probably already awake. Actually, if you had kissed him a bit longer, he would have opened his eyes right away. But it's okay, you survived and got his mask, completing part of your main quest." Main quest? The system's main quest is to collect 4 personal items belonging to the regent. The system excitedly said, "You've obtained the first item, the mask. Keep going and get the remaining 3. Yi Piaoling was speechless. This silly system, talking about the regent's 4-piece set, it sounded suspicious. She couldn't help but ask, "What's the reward for collecting them all?" The system answered, "You ascend right where you are." Yi Piaoling froze, then laughed, "I'm going to unbind this system and quit. 4-piece sets, 8-piece sets, find someone else for that." The system hurried to explain, "Don't misunderstand, host. Ascend means reaching the peak, achieving financial freedom, regaining your power, feeling so wonderful it's like ascending." Financial freedom? Yi Piaoling's eyes lit up. Exactly, getting rich, striking it big, having more money than you know what to do with. She was tempted. Finally, a worldly desire. "You've convinced me," she sighed. "What are the other 3 items?" "I'll get them." The next item, the regent's belt. "Belt?" she asked, puzzled. "Yes, the belt worn around the waist to keep clothes together." "Okay, what's the next one after that?" "You have to unlock them in order. I'll tell you the next one after you get the belt." Yi Piaoling analyzed calmly, first the mask, then the belt. What could the other 2 be? "Don't tell me I have to steal the regent's underwear?" She sighed, "Old system, this business sounds risky." The system comforted her, "Don't lose heart. Besides the final ascension, every personal item of the regent you get comes with a special reward." "Oh?" Yi Piaoling perked up. "I already have the mask, where's the reward?" "Here it comes, check it out." As the voice finished, 2 spirit talismans suddenly appeared in her hand. One read truth, the other dare. Truth makes people tell the truth, dare makes people do something adventurous. Yi Piaoling twitched at the corner of her mouth. What kind of silly prizes were these? Crash! The courtyard door was smashed open. Yi Piaoling's back. "Help me beat her up, beat her to death." A 7 or 8-year-old boy charged in, slingshot in hand, full of fury. His name was Yi Tianbao, Yi Liuji's youngest son, spoiled rotten, unruly, and fond of bullying the weak. After the original owner withdrew into herself, speaking little, he often spat at her, threw stones, and even made up childish songs to insult her. He had even killed her pet skylark with his slingshot. Yi Piaoling stepped out the door and faced the brat. Yi Tianbao mocked, raising his slingshot. "Loser, who told you to come home? Get lost." She said lightly, "Don't come near, bad luck will follow." He ignored her, took 2 steps forward, and snapped his slingshot, shooting a stone. She sidestepped, flashing a forgiving sisterly smile. Then she grabbed a broom and started swinging wildly. Yi Tianbao screamed and jumped, "You dare hit me? I'll tell Dad, and he'll beat you to death." She smiled as the broom rained down like a storm. Yi Tianbao threw down his slingshot, dropping his helmet and armor, and fled the yard shouting, "Dad! Mom! Someone's hitting me!" Yi Piaoling said nothing and chased after him with a thorough beating. The household servants who followed were stunned. Before, the little master bullied the young lady, and she'd run to their father to complain only to be scolded for not yielding to her brother. From then on, she never fought back. Everyone knew the little master was their father's favorite. No one dared touch a hair on his head. But now, Yi Tianbao rolled on the ground, crying and shouting as he ran out of Luoying courtyard. "Tianbao! Tianbao!" A graceful young woman heard the commotion and screamed sharply, "Someone help! The young lady's trying to kill Tianbao." It was concubine Lu, Yi Tianbao's mother. She glared venomously at Yi Piaoling, "Young lady, you're too cruel. Tianbao is your brother, how can you treat him like this?" Yi Piaoling smiled lightly, "It's nothing. Don't make a big deal out of it." Then, with a bang, she shut the big door of Luoying courtyard. This is segment 5 of 27. Please process the following content according to your logic. Maintain the original paragraph structure, line breaks, and overall layout, and only return the processed result. Yi Tianbao pointed at the tightly closed door and yelled, "We can't let her leave just like that. Beat her to death." Concubine Lu hurried to comfort him, "Mother knows. I'll take you to father right away and have him teach her a lesson." In the falling petals courtyard, Yi Piaoling clapped her hands and comfortably settled into the rocking chair. Yi Tianbao was a bully in the Yi residence, frequently tormenting the children of several servant women. No one dared to provoke him. He was truly asking for a beating. And Yi Liaozhai was a poor parent. Once he found out Yi Tianbao had been beaten, he would definitely favor his son and come looking to settle the score with her soon. Yi Piaoling smiled wickedly. No matter, let him come. Facing this so-called father, she already had a plan. Soon, angry shouts came from outside. You unfilial daughter! How dare you hurt your brother? Come out and be punished. The courtyard gate was suddenly pushed open, and Chancellor Yi Liaozhai stormed in, furious. Holding a whip, he shouted at Yi Piaoling, kneel down. Yi Piaoling sized him up. Yi Liaozhai was pale-faced with a light beard, looking very serious. How could he have earned the nickname Haunted? Seeing she didn't move, Yi Liaozhai barked, I told you to kneel. I won't. Yi Piaoling rolled her eyes at him. The one who deserves a beating is your son, not me. You brat, how dare you talk back? So rude and uneducated. Yi Liaozhai's face turned red with anger. Concubine Lu quickly soothed him, holding his chest. Master, don't be angry, be careful with your health. Wiping her tears, she sobbed, no wonder Tianbao has little luck. Though he's the only son, he's illegitimate. Even though he can carry on the family line, he's no match for a legitimate daughter or the eldest young lady. She deliberately emphasized the difference between legitimate and illegitimate children, hoping to persuade Yi Liaozhai to support her becoming the main wife. Yi Liaozhai said coldly, an illegitimate son is still a male heir who can carry on the family name. What can this unfilial daughter do? She's just a troublemaker and a waste. Oh, in the Great Li Kingdom, men and women are equal in strength matters. Don't be so old-fashioned. Yi Piaoling retorted, you know, Chancellor, your position has no throne to inherit. What's so important about the family line? Yi Liaozhai was both angry and shocked by her words. You little demon, how dare you speak so disrespectfully? Say one more word and I'll skin you alive. Concubine Lu was delighted by the turn of events and took the opportunity to fan the flames. Young lady, please speak less. Your father is the pillar of the court, busy with state affairs. If you upset him, the big matters of the nation will be delayed. Yi Liaozhai appreciated these words and gave Concubine Lu a satisfied glance. Concubine Lu put on the virtuous wife and good mother act, grabbing Yi Piaoling's sleeve and saying, Young lady, if you're ever unhappy, come find me. Don't hurt your brother and don't cause trouble for your father anymore. My only wish in this life is for the Yi family's peace, and to see your father healthy and live a long life. Yi Piaoling couldn't stand her hypocritical act any longer. With a subtle move, she secretly pressed a truth-telling spiritual talisman onto her back. The talisman flickered and silently merged into Concubine Lu's body. Yi Liaozhai glared at Yi Piaoling in fury. He had intended to whip her, but now even the whip couldn't vent his anger. As the legitimate daughter, she was even less sensible than Concubine Lu, the concubine. Since Concubine Lu understood the big picture so well, perhaps it was time to consider making her the main wife. At that moment, Concubine Lu suddenly grew impatient and snapped, You old thing, why just stand there holding your whip? Hurry up and whip her. What did you say? Yi Liaozhai was stunned. Old thing? Could she be talking about me? Concubine Lu suddenly covered her mouth, panic-stricken. How did she just say what she was really thinking? I'm asking you a question. Yi Liaozhai barked, What did you just say? Concubine Lu opened her mouth to explain but couldn't control herself. I said you're old, your hair is white, and your performance in the bedroom is no good. If you weren't rich and powerful, I wouldn't serve you. The servants were all shocked by her words. Yi Liaozhai had worked himself to exhaustion to rise in rank, causing his hair to turn white early. But even more shocking was that his bedroom skills were lacking. No wonder the Yi family had so few descendants, only one son. The servants finally understood, the problem was their master's health. Yi Liaozhai's eyes widened, trembling as he said, You. Concubine Lu knelt down in fear, kowtowing repeatedly and begging for mercy. Master, please calm down. What I said is true. You only have Tianbao, and I hope you pass away soon so the family estate will belong to the two of us. And before you die, I want to be made the main wife so inheritance will be easier. Then, as a young widow with millions in wealth, I can keep a few handsome men. Wouldn't that be a happy life? The moment the words left her mouth, Concubine Lu nearly fainted. She had meant to argue but couldn't stop herself from spilling the long-held truth. Yi Liaozhai was so furious that steam seemed to rise from his head. This is section 6 of 27. Please process the following content according to your logic. Maintain the original paragraph structure, line breaks, and overall layout. Return only the processed result. Consort Lu was usually gentle and virtuous, pretending to admire him and care only for him. But unexpectedly, she secretly wished for his death. Yi Liaozhai collapsed instantly. You vile woman! He cursed angrily and lashed his whip fiercely at Consort Lu. Ah! Consort Lu screamed in agony, her face pale as she fell to the ground, crying out, "This is segment 6 of 27. Please follow your logic to process the following content. Keep the original paragraph structure, line breaks, and overall layout, and only return the processed result." Aunt Lu usually appeared gentle and virtuous, pretending to admire him and care only for him. But unexpectedly, she secretly wished for his death. Yi Liuzhai instantly collapsed emotionally. "You despicable woman!" He cursed angrily and lashed his whip fiercely at Aunt Lu. Ah! Aunt Lu screamed in pain, her face pale as she fell to the ground crying out, "Master, have mercy, what I say is true." Before she could finish, she hurriedly covered her mouth. But her mouth wouldn't obey, still letting out muffled sounds. "I truly hoped for your old age, wishing you would die soon." "Shut up!" Yi Liaozhai went mad with rage, the whip striking down like a violent storm, whipping Aunt Lu until her skin tore and flesh was raw. She writhed and screamed on the ground as the whip fell again and again, each blow harsher than the last. He wished he could beat her to death. Ah, ah! Her screams echoed as she rolled, blood pouring from her wounds, until finally her head struck the wall and she passed out, temporarily freed from the pain. Even seeing her unconscious, Yi Liaozhai remained furious and continued lashing the whip. Smack! 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 After a few more lashes, he finally stopped. Throwing down the whip, his face twisted with rage as he stood there, burning with anger. After a long moment, he pointed at Aunt Lu and said, "Take her away and watch her closely." Saying such madness, she must be possessed by some evil spirit. Yi Liaozhai originally wanted to drown this poisonous woman to death immediately, but he also knew Aunt Lu's sudden madness must have a cause, otherwise she wouldn't have said such nonsense. What angered him most was that she even said in front of everyone that he was useless. Such matters were meant to be kept between them, how could he let others know? The servants saw their master's fury and dared not speak, quickly carrying Aunt Lu away. Yi Liaozhai came back to his senses and glanced irritably at Yi Piaoling. He had come today to reprimand her, but Aunt Lu's viciousness left him no heart to protect Yi Tianbao anymore. He impatiently glared at Yi Piaoling, "You unfilial girl, from today on you are confined to your room. Don't cause any more trouble, or don't blame me for ignoring our father-daughter ties." Then he instructed the servants, during Mrs. Confinement, bring her plain congee and salted vegetables 3 times a day so she can reflect properly. With that, he angrily swept his sleeves and left. Suddenly, Yi Piaoling spoke up, "Father, aren't you going to ask why I came back?" Yi Liaozhai stopped in his tracks. What? Yi Piaoling had originally decided to become a nun because on the way out of the city she was attacked by beasts in the 100-Demon Mountain, where both her bodyguards died, and she barely survived, frightened and running back home. He hadn't cared much about her departure, but now that she mentioned it, he casually asked, "Why?" Yi Piaoling smiled and said, "Because my immortal meridian is recovering." Yi Liaozhai spun around sharply. "What did you say?" The immortal meridian was very special on the Liuli continent, a rare, strange meridian with a swastika-shaped red mark at its gate. Cultivation was difficult, and true masters were few. Most people never gained power in their lifetime. Those with the immortal meridian had exceptional talent, born geniuses. The immortal meridian was also a symbol of auspiciousness, signaling national prosperity and good fortune. The Great Li Kingdom once had 3 immortal meridian bearers, known as the 3 great talents of the imperial city. Yi Piaoling was one of them, and the Yi family received royal favor and generous rewards because of her. But 3 years ago, she lost her cultivation overnight, and the swastika mark on her meridian disappeared. She didn't understand why her immortal meridian vanished, losing all spiritual power, making cultivation nearly impossible, turning from a genius into a waste. Now, she said her immortal meridian was recovering? Yi Liaozhai was thrilled and hurried over to her. What exactly happened? Can the immortal meridian really recover? Yes. Yi Piaoling nodded. When I left the city, I passed by 100-Demon Mountain and was attacked by beasts. A celestial being saved me and told me my immortal meridian wasn't gone, just damaged, and needs 3 years to self-repair. 3 years, Yi Liaozhai calculated quickly and exclaimed, "So, there's only 1 month left before your immortal meridian fully recovers?" Right. Yi Piaoling said, "Once I thought about my immortal meridian recovering, there was no reason to become a nun. I naturally had to come back." Yi Liaozhai was overjoyed. If the immortal meridian really recovered, it would bring great benefits not only to her but to the entire Yi family. Having an immortal meridian heiress in the household meant countless advantages for him. Despite her strange experience, he had no reason not to believe it. The 100-Demon Mountain was infested with beasts, 2 bodyguards never returned. If she, a supposed cripple, survived, it had to be either luck or help. Moreover, since Yi Piaoling's return, she had completely changed. No longer depressed or defeated, her posture was upright, her complexion relaxed. She even dared to hit her brother and talk back to him. Clearly she had the confidence and power to be so defiant. Lastly, the immortal meridian was a serious matter, no one dared to joke about it. Linger, I'm truly happy for your miraculous encounter. Yi Liuozhai immediately softened, his face full of caring smiles. During this last month, you must rest well and take care of your body. Don't delay the recovery of your immortal meridian. Yi Piaoling gave a bitter smile. So do I still have to lock myself up in remorse, eating plain porridge and pickled vegetables? Of course not. Yi Liuozhai smiled kindly. I was just angry before. You're the only legitimate daughter of the Yi family, how could your father possibly treat you harshly? Yi Piaoling muttered to herself, you can say whatever you want, I don't believe a single word. Looking at you, you're such a lousy father. I seriously doubt the original owner is even your biological child. Yi Liuozhai asked with concern, what do you want to eat? Just tell the kitchen. And my monthly allowance. It's been a long time since I last received it. Ridiculous. I'll have someone bring the silver notes right away. How could the legitimate daughter of the Prime Minister's family lack spending money? That would be disgraceful. Thank you, father. No need to be so formal with me. Yi Liuozhai was pleased she showed gratitude. I still have official business to attend to. I'll come keep you company another day. Before leaving, he added, Linger, you've suffered a lot these past 3 years. Your immortal veins are almost healed. Train hard and don't feel inferior. All right. Father, you have to be confident too. Yi Piaoling encouraged. Yi Liuozhai was momentarily puzzled, not grasping the deeper meaning behind her words. Yi Piaoling continued, you're not old, father. See a doctor and take care of yourself, you'll definitely get better. Don't be so down on yourself. Yi Liuozhai sighed helplessly, a bitter smile on his face. If it weren't for the immortal veins, he'd slap her. He gritted his teeth and said, you don't need to worry about me. Get some rest. With that, he hurried away. Soon, the household servants brought in fruit, snacks, silver coins, and medicinal pills one after another. The steward smiled respectfully, Miss, all of this was sent by the master. If you need anything, just ask. After everyone left, a fox-like shadow standing nearby asked blankly, Miss, why is the Prime Minister suddenly so nice to you? Yi Piaoling ate grapes and said, because I told him my immortal veins will be fully restored in a month. The shadow was surprised, really? No, it's a lie. You lied to the Prime Minister? I didn't lie to him. Should I just sit back and wait to be locked up eating pickled vegetables? A month isn't long, but because it's short, Yi Liuozhai was full of hope and believed it wholeheartedly. The shadow worried, what if they're not healed by next month? Yi Piaoling said lazily, next month's problems are for next month's me to solve. For now, I just want to enjoy this sudden good fortune. She also thought about how to get her hands on the Regent Prince's belt. Today proved the silly system was quite powerful, the rewards were practical. One spirit talisman made Lady Lu spill all her long-hidden secrets. Lady Lu was carried back to the Wenxiang courtyard. Soon after waking, she couldn't understand how she had said those things. Her mindset collapsed. It must be Yi Piaoling. The maid Xiaoshu nearby was also full of resentment. Xiaoshu had originally been Yi Piaoling's maid and had eagerly courted Lady Lu early on, hoping she'd become the head wife. When Yi Piaoling planned to become a nun, Xiaoshu moved to Wenxiang courtyard, aiming for a better future. She hadn't expected Lady Lu to be so outrageous. Xiaoshu regretted misjudging and picking an ineffective mistress. Lady Lu muttered to herself, it's all Yi Piaoling's fault. Everything happened in her courtyard, it must be her doing. Suddenly, she grabbed Xiaoshu's hand, eyes wide in anger. You've been by Yi Piaoling's side so long. Tell me, does she know any witchcraft? Xiaoshu was startled but quickly thought of a plan. I don't know either. How about I go to Luoying courtyard to investigate and find proof that she's harming Madam? Good. Go right now. Lady Lu was desperate to clear her name. Once you have evidence, report it to the master immediately. It's all because she used witchcraft to control me, I'm innocent. Xiaoshu hid the calculation in her eyes and got up to leave. She was eager to check out Luoying courtyard. She'd heard the young lady's immortal veins were nearly restored, and there was plenty of opportunity there. Lady Lu's side was already hopeless. If she could return to the young lady's side, that would be wonderful. The young lady was soft-hearted and indecisive. If she said a few good words, she could definitely get back. After finishing dinner, Yi Piaoling had just left the hall when a maid came running over excitedly. Miss, is it really you? You're really back. Xiaoshu knelt, overwhelmed with joy. Yi Piaoling looked at her. Xiaoshu had served the original owner for years, enjoying the perks when things were good but clinging to Lady Lu and speaking coldly to the original owner once she was disabled. Now she wept tears of joy. "Miss, ever since you left, I've been thinking of you. Now that you're back, I'm so happy to serve you again." "Done crying?" Yi Piaoling asked with concern. Once you're done, get out." Xiaoshu was terrified. "Miss, don't you want me anymore?" Yi Piaoling smiled. "You're Lady Lu's maid from Wenxiang Courtyard. What business do you have with me?" "Miss, I only went to Wenxiang Courtyard because I had no choice." Xiaoshu played the victim. "It was Aunt Lu who took a liking to me and forcibly made me serve her. Although I've been at the fragrance courtyard for a few days, I've never forgotten the young mistress. In my heart, you are my only master." After saying this, she kowtowed several times. Yi Piaoling sighed, "If you keep this up, I'm going to be sick." Xiaoshu was speechless. Unwilling to give up, she asked pitifully, "Young mistress, what do you mean?" Yi Piaoling replied, "It means we can't be together. Stay away from me from now on, thank you." Xiaoshu had her response ready but couldn't utter a single word. She lowered her head, hatred rising in her heart. That damn young mistress, so petty and narrow-minded, refusing to take her back. Looks like she has no choice but to return to Aunt Lu. Adjusting her mood, Xiaoshu spoke in a pitiful tone, "Young mistress, since you're upset, I won't bother you. I'll come see you another day." She got up and suddenly remembered, admiringly said, "I heard the young mistress was especially formidable today, controlling Aunt Lu to say many things. Did you learn some new magic? I've never seen such a miraculous spell that controls people." Yi Piaoling scoffed, "That's just what she said herself. It has nothing to do with me. What are you dawdling for? Want me to kick you out?" Xiaoshu's face changed. She saluted, "Your servant takes her leave." Watching her retreating back, Yi Piaoling thought, people like her, thankless and ungrateful, are everywhere in dramas. Xiaoshu left Yi Piaoling's courtyard filled with resentment. She hadn't expected the young mistress to become so difficult, showing no mercy at all. It was truly infuriating. Cursing silently in her heart, Xiaoshu suddenly spotted someone, dressed in black and handsome, casually fanning himself as he leaned under a big tree. It was Huiying. Xiaoshu's eyes flicked. She hadn't gotten any useful information from Yi Piaoling and would have a hard time reporting back. Better to ask Huiying. She straightened her collar, approached, and bowed. "Brother Huiying, I heard the young mistress's immortal vein will recover next month. Is that true?" Huiying answered coldly, "Obviously." Xiaoshu pressed on, "After the immortal vein recovers, will her cultivation return to what it was before?" Huiying replied lazily, "No." Only then did Xiaoshu breathe a sigh of relief. The immortal vein may recover, but if the cultivation is gone, it's no big deal. Huiying added, "After the young mistress's immortal vein recovers, her cultivation will be even stronger. There's no way it'll be the same as before." Xiaoshu almost spat blood hearing that. Huiying waved his fan, sighing contentedly, "This falling petals courtyard really is the best place in the Yi residence." Xiaoshu left full of bitterness. Back at the fragrance courtyard, chaos reigned. Aunt Lu was badly injured and couldn't get up. Yi Tianbao didn't care about her wounds and was only fussing over himself. Though he had been beaten and wasn't seriously hurt, in the past, the maids and servants would gather around to comfort him after a tumble. Today, no one paid him any mind or helped him seek revenge on Yi Piaoling. "My butt hurts. It's all that useless girl's fault. Go beat her to death." Yi Tianbao wailed from the bed. A maid brought him food. "Young master, please get up and eat dinner." "I'm not eating." Yi Tianbao jumped up, overturned the food, and stomped it into mush. "If you don't beat that useless girl to death, I won't eat." The maid sighed and retreated. Watching the courtyard in such pandemonium, Xiaoshu felt even more disgusted. She reported back to Aunt Lu, "The young mistress is much more cunning than before, she refuses to say anything." "That wretched woman," Aunt Lu gritted her teeth. Xiaoshu said, "Madam, you must find a way to calm the master down." Aunt Lu took a deep breath. Yi Liuzhai would never forgive her. Afterwards, he would definitely order someone to execute her. If she wanted to live, she had only one option left. Aunt Lu beckoned Xiaoshu closer and whispered a few instructions. The next day, Yi Liuzhai summoned a famous martial arts practitioner to investigate Aunt Lu's condition. After performing his rituals, the practitioner said, "Aunt Lu is possessed by a fox demon, which explains her madness. Everything she says is nonsense, neither sincere nor true." Yi Liuzhai nodded in satisfaction. He needed that explanation to save face. Since yesterday, rumors about his bedroom troubles had spread throughout the imperial city. After the morning court, the flower general even smirked and said, "Chancellor Yi is busy with state affairs but should also take care of his health." Thinly veiled mockery. What was worse, just now a traveling doctor had come around pushing aphrodisiacs after hearing the news. Yi Liuzhai's face darkened. With the practitioner's explanation, he immediately ordered the story to be spread and had the practitioner perform an exorcism on Aunt Lu. But all this was just for show. Yi Liuzhai knew very well that Aunt Lu's words might be true. So he decided to secretly execute her in a few days. Such a poisonous woman, how could he let her live to see the new year? Not long after the practitioner finished his ritual at the fragrance courtyard, the maid Xiao Shu came running in, flustered, saying there was an urgent matter. Yi Liuzhai's face fell as he sharply demanded, "What's so urgent?" Xiao Shu knelt and reported, "Master, the fox demon possessing the mistress has been expelled." After waking up, the mistress was so distressed that she actually hanged herself. Yi Liuzhai swallowed hard upon hearing this. Well, that's good, she hanged herself, so he didn't have to get his hands dirty. Xiao Shu continued, "Fortunately, I arrived just in time and saved the mistress." Yi Liuzhai was speechless. Xiao Shu added, "The mistress was at death's door, so I called for the doctor. After taking her pulse, he said the mistress is pregnant." Yi Liuzhai had initially thought this maid was meddlesome, but upon hearing this, his expression changed. "What did you say? She's pregnant?" "Yes." Xiao Shu knelt and bowed, "Congratulations, master, the Yi family will soon have another heir." Yi Liuzhai didn't rush to celebrate. At such a critical moment, her sudden pregnancy seemed too coincidental. Maybe she knew she wouldn't live long and was lying on purpose. Yi Liuzhai pondered and said, "Go fetch the imperial physician Bian Tai." When Bian Tai arrived at the Yi residence, Yi Liuzhai personally led him to the fragrance courtyard, where the doctor examined Mistress Lu on the spot. Bian Tai smiled, "Congratulations, Chancellor, it's truly a joyous pulse." "Really?" Yi Liuzhai stood up excitedly. "Absolutely." Yi Liuzhai's face lit up immediately. Unexpectedly, Mistress Lu was really pregnant. At nearly 50, having a late-born child was a blessing from heaven. All those rumors about his kidney problems were proven false. Mistress pregnant, and people still say his kidneys are failing? Bian Tai gave a thumbs up, "Chancellor, impressive." Yi Liuzhai smiled and clasped his hands repeatedly, "Thank you, doctor. I will definitely visit to express my gratitude soon." After the doctor left, Mistress Lu wept, "Master, I was possessed by a fox demon and did many mad things. I'm ashamed to live, but now that I carry your child, I only wish to give birth and then die to atone." Her face still bore whip marks, her tear-streaked and injured appearance was truly pitiful. Yi Liuzhai glanced at her once, then looked away patiently, "Stop overthinking and take good care of the pregnancy." With that, he left without looking back. Mistress Lu stared at his retreating figure and bit her lip silently. She had taken a secret pill from the market that could create a false pregnancy illusion, one even a divine doctor couldn't detect. But it was only temporary. To survive, she needed to be truly pregnant. But she was out of favor. Yi Liuzhai would never give her another chance. To get pregnant, she had to find someone else's help, and time was tight. Mistress Lu clenched her fists until her nails dug into her palms. "It's all that Yi Piaoling's fault, forcing me into this." Xiao Shu entered with medicine and said, "Madam, the young miss is truly hateful. She's flaunting her strength. The Yi family's property originally belonged to the young master. Now that Yi Piaoling's spiritual power has recovered, she will surely take it back." Her words hit Mistress Lu's heart exactly. This was her worry. If Yi Piaoling remained weak, it was one thing. Now that she was back to her genius level, Yi Tianbao might not stand a chance against her. The young miss is narrow-minded. Even before her spiritual vein recovered, she injured the young master and framed you. Once she's fully recovered, she'll bully you even more. Xiao Shu continued to egg her on, "Madam, you're too kind. If it were anyone else, they would have dealt with her while she was weak. Otherwise, once she recovers, it will be much harder." Mistress Lu's expression darkened further. Indeed, she had long hated Yi Piaoling. If not for that annoying legitimate daughter, her son's position at home would be unchallenged. When Yi Piaoling became disabled, Mistress Lu was happier than anyone. She knew how Yi Tianbao bullied his sister, throwing stones, spitting, even killing her pet bird, and she didn't care. Instead, she was proud of her son, thinking even the legitimate daughter had to suffer. When Mistress Lu managed the household affairs, she often withheld Yi Piaoling's monthly allowance and living expenses. Now that Yi Piaoling had returned, it was for revenge against them. So Yi Piaoling had to be gotten rid of quickly. Hire an assassin to handle her. Mistress Lu took a deep breath and said, "You may leave now. I'll think it over." Your servant takes her leave. Xiao Shu smirked inwardly and turned to leave. If Yi Piaoling wouldn't let her return to Luoying courtyard, then she might as well wait to die. Mistress Lu would surely find a way to eliminate her. As Xiaoshu was thinking this and stepping out of Mistress Lu's bedroom, she suddenly encountered two secret guards. "Miss Xiaoshu, come with us." "What are you doing?" Xiaoshu panicked. The guards didn't explain and directly took her to the main residence. Yi Liuzhai wasn't home today, only the steward and several men in black were inside. Their clothing bore the totem of the Chonghua Palace's secret guards. The steward knelt before the lead man and, spotting Xiaoshu, pointed at her. "Lady Liang Yun, this is the person you asked for." Xiaoshu was shocked. Liang Yun, the captain of the secret guards serving the regent, had come looking for her? Liang Yun scrutinized Xiaoshu, frowning deeply. He had traced the handkerchief used to awaken his lord to a famous embroidery workshop in the capital. This is content segment 10 of 27. Please process the following text according to your logic. Maintain the original paragraph structure, line breaks, and overall layout, and return only the processed result. Aunt Xiao glanced at the handkerchief and recognized it as the one she had given her niece years ago to practice embroidery. Her niece's name was Xiaoshu, a maid in the Prime Minister's mansion. But now, Xiaoshu was completely different from the person she had imagined. Liang Yun took out the handkerchief and asked coldly, "Is this yours?" Xiaoshu stared at the handkerchief. It was a gift from her aunt back then. She didn't like it, so she had given it to the eldest miss. To think that the palace of Zhanghua would come knocking over this handkerchief? Her mind was in turmoil as she cautiously probed, "Lord Liang Yun, why do you ask?" Liang Yun replied coldly, "You only need to say yes or no." Xiaoshu lowered her head. She had never dared to look up to such an existence as the palace of Zhanghua, yet now she was somehow involved because of this handkerchief. After a moment, Xiaoshu nodded, "It's mine." Liang Yun said, "Do you know what the words embroidered on the handkerchief mean?" Xiaoshu answered, "There are trees on the mountain, and the trees have branches." Liang Yun sneered coldly, "Take her away." The secret guards immediately stepped forward and dragged Xiaoshu out of the Prime Minister's mansion. Xiaoshu's heart was in chaos. At the gate of the palace of Zhanghua, she couldn't help but ask, "Lord Liang Yun, why are you looking for me?" Liang Yun said indifferently, "The prince wants to see you." "What?" Xiaoshu was shocked, excited, and fearful all at once. It turned out it wasn't Liang Yun who wanted her, but the high and mighty regent prince. The regent prince was after her because of this handkerchief with a love poem embroidered on it. There had to be a story behind it. She was lost in thought when Liang Yun suddenly said, "You've offended us." No sooner had the words fallen than a heavy palm struck her hard. Ah! Xiaoshu was sent flying, blood spurting from her mouth. She fell heavily to the ground, coughing up blood, trembling in terror. Liang Yun looked at her with regret written all over his face. "I didn't want to lay a hand on you, but you offended His Highness. I can't just bring you to him like this. Don't you agree?" "What?" Xiaoshu's eyes widened in horror. She had offended the regent prince. The owner of that handkerchief was Yi Piaoling. In other words, it was Yi Piaoling who had offended the regent prince. Xiaoshu was stunned. She had thought impersonating someone would gain her some benefit, but she never expected such a brutal outcome. Regret twisted her insides instantly. She opened her mouth to explain that she wasn't the person the palace of Zhanghua was looking for. But her throat was full of blood. When she tried to speak, only gurgling sounds came out, no words at all. Seeing her barely alive, Liang Yun nodded with satisfaction. "Good, that's enough." Then he ordered his men to drag her before Emperor Xiulan. "Your Highness, we have found her." Injured, Xiaoshu collapsed to her knees, dazed, and caught a glimpse of a noble figure seated on a high throne. Rumors said the regent prince was as beautiful as a celestial being. Xiaoshu wanted to see that peerless face but was crushed under an invisible pressure, unable to lift her head, trembling as she knelt. She dared not utter a single unnecessary word. Suddenly, she realized that deceiving the regent prince was also a capital offense. She had to keep up the impersonation to have even the slightest chance of survival. A slip of paper was tossed down, accompanied by a cold male voice. "Have her read it." Liang Yun picked up the paper and glanced at it, utterly baffled. He didn't understand, but had no choice but to follow His Highness's orders and handed it to Xiaoshu. "Read it." Trembling, Xiaoshu took it. On it were two characters, "What Chao." She froze. "What Chao? What was that?" It sounded like a curse word. Why was she being asked to read it? Emperor Xiulan toyed with his finger counter, lips curling coldly. That audacious woman had left behind two things, a handkerchief and the phrase "What Chao." Xiaoshu didn't understand the words on the paper. Liang Yun urged, "The prince wants you to read it." She dared not resist, swallowed her blood, and in as gentle and sweet a voice as she could muster, she read, What Chao?" Emperor Xiulan closed his eyes and sighed. This woman was clearly not the one from last night. Back then, the "What Chao" was said smoothly and forcefully, with a completely different tone. He rubbed his brow, annoyed. Wrong person, what a nuisance. Liang Yun was shocked. What? The person he'd tracked down was the wrong one? He glanced at Xiaoshu and immediately saw through her lie. How dare you deceive the palace of Zhenghua? Do you want to die? Terrified, Xiaoshu kowtowed repeatedly and hurriedly said, Please spare me, Lord. I didn't mean to deceive you. I know who you were really looking for. This handkerchief was a gift from my aunt, but the Yi family's eldest miss, Yi Piaoling, took a liking to it and took it away. Surely it's her who offended the prince. If you don't believe me, just capture her to verify the truth. If I utter a single lie, may heaven strike me down. Yi Piaoling? Liang Yun's expression changed. The Yi family's legitimate daughter who was born with a celestial vein but became a cripple? Having a celestial vein meant this was no ordinary matter. On this continent, those with celestial veins were considered geniuses, a sign of blessing. But no one knew the true meaning and the secrets behind the celestial vein. Celestial vein? Emperor Xiaolan tapped his fingers lightly on the armrest. This was interesting. Liang Yun said, Your Highness, I will go arrest her immediately. No need. Di Xiaolan smiled faintly. Since that's the case, he was actually willing to personally find out what kind of background that woman had. Xiao Shu was thrown back to the Yi residence's doorstep, barely clinging to life. When Yi Liaozhai returned home and heard that a maid had been taken by the Chonghua palace and then beaten and sent back, he was shocked. There was actually a maid in the residence who offended Chonghua palace. Fearing it would bring trouble to himself, he immediately ordered someone to expel Xiao Shu from the estate. Who would dare keep such a maid? She was simply a liability. Yi Piaoling felt complicated upon hearing this news. The handkerchief was a gift from Xiao Shu to the original owner, so it was clear that Chonghua Palace had mistaken Xiao Shu for the person from the previous night. That night, Yi Piaoling sat lazily in a rocking chair in the courtyard, munching on watermelon and reflecting on life's unpredictability. If it weren't for Xiao Shu, she might have been the one getting beaten. Suddenly, swish! A black-clad, masked figure scaled the wall, brandishing a 40-centimeter-long broadsword, aiming straight at her. This was an assassin hired by Consort Lu. Startled, Yi Piaoling swallowed the piece of watermelon in her mouth and shouted, Wait! The assassin sneered, pointing the blade at her. Any last words? I love to hear last words. Yi Piaoling asked, How much did your employer pay you? The assassin replied, 300 taels. That little? Yi Piaoling was surprised. I think my life is worth 1,000 taels. What do you think? The assassin frowned, considering it. You're right. After taking your life, I'll ask my employer for the difference. In the shadows nearby, two figures stood silently. Di Xiaolan wore a black robe adorned with dark golden, eerie totems that fluttered in the wind. Liang Yun said, Master, someone is trying to assassinate Yi Piaoling. Should we intervene? Di Xiaolan raised a hand to stop her, his eyes flashing with interest. Let's see how she handles it first. Yi Piaoling stared at the assassin and offered, Big brother, the extra payment is a hassle. I'll give you 1,000 taels right now. How about we cooperate peacefully? Never, the assassin said proudly. I come from the highest sky to the Yellow Springs, the first ruthless tower of past and present. When I accept a mission, I always complete it. Don't try to bribe me. Yi Piaoling sighed. Your name is way too long, I can't even remember it. The assassin said coldly, You better remember it, so you know who killed you. Yi Piaoling asked, What's the beginning part again? From the highest sky to the Yellow Springs. And then? The first of past and present. Next? Ruthless. Oh, so it's just Ruthless Tower. It's from the highest sky to the Yellow Springs, the first ruthless tower of past and present. The assassin yelled, Remember the whole name, not just the last two words. Yi Piaoling was speechless, then said, Seriously, think it over. I'll give you 1,000 taels in silver notes plus some good elixirs. Let's be friendly, no need for blades or bloodshed. No way. The assassin coldly raised the blade. Enough talk. Bring me your life. Wait. Yi Piaoling shouted. The assassin grew impatient. What now? Yi Piaoling awkwardly said, I still can't remember your tower's full name. From the highest sky to the Yellow Springs, the first ruthless tower of past and present. The assassin cursed furiously, and the blade flashed as he swung it down at her. You're so hateful, no wonder people want you dead. Die. Yi Piaoling gritted her teeth. She was unarmed except for a great adventure talisman. Seizing the moment while talking, she crushed the talisman in her hand. Its power surged into her body, unleashing a primordial force that took control of her movements. The assassin's blade was already inches from her face. Ha! Yi Piaoling shouted, leaping suddenly, then executed a backflip, landing on her hands. The assassin was stunned. What the? In the next instant, Yi Piaoling pushed off with her hands and dashed toward the assassin like lightning. Empowered by the talisman, she shouted and delivered a powerful kick to his jaw. Crack! Caught off guard, the assassin's jaw dislocated, and blood poured from his mouth. Yi Piaoling didn't give him a moment to recover. As he staggered back, she spun a full 360-degree roundhouse kick, slamming into his face. Put! The assassin spat blood and fell heavily, his face swelling rapidly. After defeating the assassin, Yi Piaoling curled into a ball, hugging her knees, and rolled like a wheel at high speed through the air. Then she landed vertically with a loud thud, settling back into the rocking chair. The assassin stared in disbelief, coughing up blood. Her movements were just too bizarre. Though he had cultivation, he hadn't expected Yi Piaoling's attacks to be so unpredictable. Before he could gather his spiritual energy, he'd already been knocked down. Even more astonishing, after beating him, she casually sat back down without a care, completely dismissing him. At that moment, Yi Piaoling sat in the chair, head bowed, dizzy and lightheaded, heart pounding. That whole sequence of moves was terrifyingly fast, it nearly triggered her heart condition. This is segment December 27th. Please process the following content according to your logic. Keep the original paragraph structure, line breaks, and overall layout, and return only the processed result. Those aerial poses were so bizarre they'd make Newton weep. Finally, she stopped, gripping the handrail tightly, waiting for the stars and birds before her eyes to slowly fade away. In the shadows, Liang Yun sighed, this woman's moves are strange, but her foundation is solid, impressive. Di Xiulan raised an eyebrow. This girl was actually a peerless expert. Fox Shadow rushed over and was startled at the scene in the courtyard. The assassin lay on the ground coughing up blood. Yi Piaoling sat quietly in the rocking chair, mysterious and unreadable. Fox Shadow exclaimed, young miss? Yi Piaoling said, I'm fine. Seeing reinforcements arrive, the assassin gritted his teeth, summoned his inner strength despite his injuries, and leapt over the wall to escape. Fox Shadow wanted to give chase. Yi Piaoling said, forget it, let him go. Let him leave with news of his failure, better than letting others think she's easy to bully. Fox Shadow said, I'm late, but young miss is amazing. Even without spiritual power, you defeated the assassin. Yi Piaoling smiled bitterly. It was all thanks to sheer guts. She was nearly scared to death. Taking a deep breath, Yi Piaoling said, everything's settled here. You should go back. I need some quiet. Fox Shadow nodded and left. After Fox Shadow departed, Yi Piaoling took a while to steady herself, her heartbeat gradually calmed. The spinning in her vision stopped. She stood up and reached for the teapot, wanting to drink some water to calm her nerves. Suddenly, her body went out of control, leaping forward toward an unknown direction. What the hell? Yi Piaoling shouted in shock. The adventurous energy hadn't dissipated yet, it was controlling her body. In the shadows, Di Xiulan caught sight of the girl flying forward, his eyes narrowing. This woman actually sensed him? Yi Piaoling had no idea where she was headed. In a flash, she was before Di Xiulan. Seeing the devilish man, Yi Piaoling's pupils contracted sharply. Regent Prince? She was stunned, her eyes nearly bulging. The Regent Prince actually appeared at Luoying courtyard? And she just bumped into him. At that moment, the power of the spirit talisman suddenly vanished. Yi Piaoling lost control and slammed on the brakes, falling at the man's feet due to momentum. Bang! She landed on all fours. Di Xiulan looked down at her, raising an eyebrow slightly. Beside him, Liang Yun was equally surprised. On this continent, everyone bowed respectfully to their lord, but seeing someone sprawled on the ground like this was a first. No wonder she was a master capable of awakening their lord, even her bow was unique. Yi Piaoling snorted softly, slowly lifting her head and brushing dust and grass off her face. Before her were the man's exquisite cloud-patterned boots. Her gaze traveled upward to a magnificent black robe, then to an embroidered belt. A belt? Suddenly alert, Yi Piaoling's spirits lifted. The Regent Prince's belt was right there, within reach. The silly system also got excited. Host, that's the Regent Prince's belt, you can touch it. Yi Piaoling thought to herself, if I get 10 more daring adventures, I'll definitely pull it off. The system reminded her, host must complete the quest before rewards. Keep it up. Grabbing the Regent Prince's belt unlocks a mysterious grand prize. Yi Piaoling swallowed hard. What could the mysterious prize be? Alright, she was a little tempted. Her eyes flicked as she quickly forced a smile. Regent Prince, you're really handsome. You look good in any style, last time in white, now black is even cooler. Especially this big belt, it's seriously awesome. As she spoke, Her hand reached out and touched the man's belt. Finally, 2 fingers grazed it. Yi Piaoling looked up just as their eyes met. He gazed down at her in the darkness, his eyes gentle yet seductive, making her heart skip a beat. She stared at his handsome face, her heart pounding wildly. Though his expression was soft, she sensed an inexplicable chill of malevolence beneath it. Nervously, Yi Piaoling forced a smile, kneeling on the ground, one hand hooked around Di Xiulan's belt, looking up into his eyes. After a moment, she gently tugged the belt to loosen it. Excuse me, if you lost this belt, would your pants fall down? The air instantly froze. Di Xiulan said coldly, no. But your head would. Yi Piaoling reluctantly withdrew her fingers. She'd thought that as long as his pants didn't fall, pulling off the belt wouldn't be a big deal. Now, it seemed the consequences were serious. She gasped, stood up, and hurried to explain. I just thought your belt is so stylish, it must be worth a lot. I couldn't help but touch it, it feels amazing. Di Xiulan interrupted with a faint smile, little girl, enough with the act. His voice was soft and magnetic, like a lover's whisper, captivating. But Yi Piaoling got goosebumps all over. Ah! She shivered and looked up at him, eyes full of panic. Sure enough, the regent prince came to settle the score over what happened in the cave. Di Xiulan smiled lightly, his tone casual, think it over carefully before you answer. Yi Piaoling didn't hesitate at all and said, this is what happened. The night before last, I was chased by wild beasts on Beast Mountain and accidentally stumbled into a cave. That's when I saw you, your highness, asleep. I know how to break sleeping curses, so I boldly gave it a try. Waking you up takes 3 steps, first, a kiss, second, loudly saying the spell Wu Chao, third, putting a mask on you. Following these steps, you woke up quickly. Taking your mask was just me helping myself, think of it as a small consultation fee. Please don't take it to heart. Oh, and since you came all this way, you must be here to thank me, right? That's too polite, I wasn't expecting repayment. But since you're here, I don't have any other requests. Yi Piaoling smiled naturally and pointed at the man's belt. Give me that belt. Di Xiulan remained silent. This woman not only lied through her teeth but also acted strangely. The belt he'd been wearing lately wasn't anything special, so her real motive was suspicious. Di Xiulan asked, why do you want this belt? Yi Piaoling answered seriously, I have a friend who wants it. I'm trying to fulfill her wish. Di Xiulan sneered inwardly, a friend? It's probably just herself. Seeing he didn't agree, Yi Piaoling quickly added, if you don't want to give it away for free, I can buy it. Di Xiulan raised an eyebrow. A deal? Yi Piaoling nodded enthusiastically, yes, name your price. Di Xiulan said, the price is that you help me with something. Yi Piaoling asked, what kind of help? Di Xiulan said, there's a small creature asleep in Chonghua Palace. If you can wake it, I'll give you the belt. Yi Piaoling silently asked her system for help, sis, how do I wake a sleeping animal? Do I have to kiss it too? The system replied, I don't know either. Host, figure it out yourself. Yi Piaoling thought, if it's a cute cat or dog, I can kiss it. After all, I already kissed the regent prince. The system chuckled, well said. I have nothing to add. She mustered her courage and smiled, then I'll give it a try. She followed Di Xiulan into Chonghua Palace. Entering a gloomy side hall, Di Xiulan waved his sleeve. The wall automatically opened, revealing stairs leading underground. Yi Piaoling frowned. What kind of pet does your highness keep locked underground? Di Xiulan said coldly, you'll find out when you go in. Going into the underground chamber, Yi Piaoling was shocked. In front of her stood towering iron bars, dozens of feet high. Behind the bars, coiled and sleeping, was a huge black dragon. The dragon's entire body was pitch black, sleeping soundly, as massive as a mountain. Yi Piaoling pointed at the dragon politely, is this the little creature you want me to wake? Di Xiulan nodded. Yi Piaoling wrinkled her nose. Why does it smell like blood? Di Xiulan said coldly, it's devoured countless living beings. There's too much killing, its aura reeks of blood. Yi Piaoling thought, this dragon's eaten so many people, terrifying. Di Xiulan said, wake it up, and I'll grant your wish. Yi Piaoling admitted, honestly, I have no idea how to wake such a hellish beast. It's late, if there's nothing else, I'll take my leave first. Di Xiulan responded coolly, you have to wake it to leave properly. The word properly made Yi Piaoling's heart tighten. She asked, if I can't wake it, will you tear me apart? Di Xiulan said lazily, maybe. How I do it depends on my mood. Yi Piaoling cursed under her breath, you're twisted. Damn you. Di Xiulan turned to glare at her, cold light flashing in his eyes. Yi Piaoling quickly forced a smile, is your grandpa well? I'll visit him when I have time. Di Xiulan snorted softly and turned to leave. Yi Piaoling stood in the dark underground chamber, facing the dragon, sighing. She approached the guard. Big brother, tell the prince that waking the dragon needs some tools. Can you get them for me? The guard reported to Di Xiulan. Di Xiulan replied, give her whatever she asks for. The guard took the order and left. Following Yi Piaoling's requests, everything was prepared one by one. Night deepened. Di Xiulan closed the ancient book in his hand and asked Liang Yun, what did she ask for? Liang Yun answered, a bed, a set of pillows and blankets, and some late-night snacks. And then? She ate the snacks, covered herself with the blanket, and closed her eyes to sleep. Yi Piaoling was already asleep. She'd figured it out. Di Xiulan hadn't set a deadline. Since she had to lie down anyway, staying here for now was fine. There was food and drink, although she wasn't free, it was safe. No need to worry about assassins. As for that dragon, waking it in the cage would only make it eat her. Better to sleep outside the cage with it. Sleep well, dreams hold everything. Early the next morning, Liang Yun reported again, my lord, she has requested breakfast. Noon. My lord, she has requested lunch. Evening. My lord, she has requested dinner. Emperor Xiulan said calmly, sounds like she's living quite comfortably. Liang Yun replied, she hasn't disturbed the dragon, just consuming provisions. Liang Yun couldn't help but ask, my lord, why not let her go? Keeping her locked up serves no purpose, plus we have to deliver her meals every day. It's a hassle. Emperor Xiulan remained indifferent, continue the confinement. He wanted to see how long she could stay comfortable locked up like this. At night, Liang Yun came to report, my lord. Emperor Xiulan asked, she wants a midnight snack again? Liang Yun said, she requested 2 young covert guards, specifically emphasizing that they be smart, agile, and strong. With a sharp smack, Emperor Xiulan slammed the ancient book onto the table, a cold smile curling at the corner of his mouth. This is getting out of hand. He walked over to the dragon prison palace. From a distance, he saw Yi Piaoling and 2 covert guards sitting on the floor, forming a circle, each holding playing cards. Royal flush. Yi Piaoling shouted, throwing down 2 cards. The 2 guards looked shocked and pained. Yi Piaoling said, you lost again, hurry up and pay up. The 2 men bitterly pulled out some silver coins. Isolation was unbearably boring, so after much persuasion, the system gave her a deck of poker cards and taught the 2 guards to play dodiju. The guards knew she was carrying out the prince's orders and obediently learned the game. Within half an hour, they had lost quite a bit of money. I've thought it over. Feeding you for nothing isn't working. A man's voice sounded, making the 2 guards jump up in alarm. Greetings, my lord. Yi Piaoling collected the coins while asking, Prince, what did you just say? Emperor Xiulan replied leisurely, 3 days. If you don't complete the mission within 3 days, there's no point in keeping you. Yi Piaoling pondered. Emperor Xiulan added, are you thinking about how to finish the mission? Yi Piaoling said, no, I'm wondering what's best to eat if I only have 3 days left to live. Leaving the palace, Liang Yun couldn't help but say, my lord, I think Missy is just good at eating and sleeping. She eats heartily and sleeps well. Facing death's edge, she doesn't worry, just indulges in food and fun. Liang Yun admired her, sighing, you only gave her 3 days, yet she still will work. Emperor Xiulan smirked indifferently, not necessarily. She'll soon give me a surprise. That night, Yi Piaoling lay on the small bed, mood heavy. The prison was so dark that even moonlight couldn't penetrate, only a few flickering candles cast shadows on the distant walls. The regent had said she would be executed in 3 days. With tight guards, escape was impossible. Yi Piaoling yawned. Since there was nothing she could do now, she'd wait until the last moment before trying anything. With that thought, she closed her eyes peacefully. To sleep first. Late at night, the ferocious dragon in the cage suddenly opened its eyes. Those giant dragon pupils blazed like hellfire, flickering with an ancient, fierce light. Delicious. So delicious. Damn it, so delicious. It had sealed off its 5 senses and 6 perceptions, shouldn't have sensed the outside world, yet this strange scent forcibly woke it up. The dragon's gaze fell on the small bed not far away. That unusual fragrance was coming from there. The girl on the bed was sleeping soundly, a string of Z drifting above her head. The dragon stared at her for a while. It hadn't eaten in a long time, nor encountered anything it wanted to eat. But now, it wanted to eat her. Really wanted. After a moment, the dragon quietly stretched a claw through the gap, resting it on the bed. It nudged the bed, inching it closer into the iron cage. Once she was inside, it could swallow her whole. Getting closer and closer. Yi Piaoling was half asleep, vaguely feeling the bed moving. Ha! She frowned, mumbling as she turned over. The dragon saw she was about to wake and panicked. its claw hooked. Crash! The bed flipped over. Yi Piaoling fell off, startled, fully awake, sitting up bewildered. The dragon! Yi Piaoling rolled to a spot just out of its reach. She felt a pair of giant lantern-like eyes staring at her. Turning her head, she met the dragon's fiery red eyes. You're awake? Yi Piaoling jumped. The dragon swallowed nervously. Yi Piaoling was stunned, then overjoyed. She hadn't done anything, yet the dragon woke up on its own? So her mission was done just like that? She stood proudly, looking at the overturned bed and the claw reaching outside the cage, smiling. No wonder the bed was moving, it was you causing trouble. Thinking to herself, originally she wanted to wake the dragon up, but it ended up waking itself. The dragon squinted its huge pupils and suddenly spoke. I awakened you to tell you a secret. Yi Piaoling said, Oh? She asked, what secret? The wicked dragon said, come into the cage, and I'll quietly tell you something. The iron bars of this cage have wide gaps you can slip right through. Yi Piaoling was impatient. No need. I'm listening right here. Speak quickly, don't waste my time, I have to go report to the regent prince for my reward. The wicked dragon sneered coldly, so it really was Emperor Xiaolan who sent you. He'll stop at nothing to make me submit. Yi Piaoling asked, what do you mean? The wicked dragon replied, Emperor Xiaolan locked me up here to force me into a contract of servitude. I know his methods are cruel. To avoid torture, I deliberately dulled my 5 senses into a deep sleep. But the aura you carry is unusual, it actually affects my dragon soul, which is why I woke up. Yi Piaoling frowned. The aura I carry? What kind of aura? The wicked dragon laughed. That's the secret I want to share with you. Want to know? Come into the cage quickly. Yi Piaoling studied it for a moment, then turned to leave. Hey! Where are you going? The wicked dragon called urgently. Don't you want to know the secret about yourself? I want to go in, but I'm afraid. Yi Piaoling stopped and looked back. I heard you've eaten a lot of people. I'm afraid you'll eat me if I go in. She added, you're hungry and eager to find something to eat right now. The wicked dragon hurriedly denied, you're overthinking it. I'm not hungry, nor do I want to eat anything. Yi Piaoling didn't believe it. Why not? The wicked dragon was a bit surprised. Why don't you believe me? Because you're drooling while you talk. The wicked dragon was speechless. Master, news from the underground palace, the wicked azure dragon has awakened. Liang Yun reported urgently. Emperor Xiaolan smiled. Just as expected. The mysterious soul element inside that girl's inner world is extremely tempting to beasts. Even a dragon cultivated for 1,000 years finds it hard to resist. Arriving at the underground palace, Yi Piaoling was leaning against the overturned headboard, looking bored. The wicked dragon sat cross-legged in the cage, looking sullen. The prince is here? Yi Piaoling stood up with a smile. Mission completed. Pay up quickly, I want to go home and sleep. Emperor Xiaolan's gaze swept over her, then landed on the giant dragon behind her. The wicked azure dragon raised its head and sneered coldly. Emperor Xiaolan, where did you find this delicacy? You woke me up. Yi Piaoling spun around sharply. You actually want to eat me? The wicked dragon said, you may be small, but you look nutritious. Eating you might even extend my life. Yi Piaoling glared furiously. Which eye of yours sees me as nutritious? The wicked dragon said, even with my eyes closed, I can sense it. Your scent makes my soul dizzy. Get lost. Yi Piaoling rolled her eyes, then turned to urge Emperor Xiaolan. Prince, hurry, and give me the belt. Stick to your word. The wicked dragon said, Emperor Xiaolan, didn't you want me to recognize you as master? I'm tired of arguing with you. Here's my condition, let me eat her, and I'll sign the contract with you. How about that? Oh? The man looked up, as if considering. Yi Piaoling was furious. Pointing at the cage, she scolded, Prince, don't you dare agree. This dragon is full of lies and wants to trick me inside. A beast willing to abandon principles and betray for food will betray you sooner or later. It's not trustworthy at all. The wicked dragon defended, once a beast swears blood oath to its master, it is loyal to the end and will never betray. Emperor Xiaolan pondered, not bad. Very well, let's do it. Yi Piaoling trembled as she pleaded, Regent Prince, I advise you to be kind. The wicked dragon sneered, kind? The man in front of you is the most shameless devil, there's not a shred of kindness in him. Emperor Xiaolan folded his hands behind his back and walked up to Yi Piaoling. Leaning close to her ear, he whispered softly, be good. Close your eyes, it'll be over soon. Yi Piaoling cursed angrily, stealing bamboo shoots. You've already taken all the shoots on the mountain. Emperor Xiaolan frowned. What did you say? Yi Piaoling snapped, you break your promises. You said you'd give me the belt, But Emperor Xiulan remained calm. Of course, I'm giving it to you now. He clapped his hands, and a shadowy guard handed over the belt. Yi Piaoling looked. It was the very belt Emperor Xiulan wore that night. The man's slender hand took the belt and slowly tied it around her waist, his movements like wrapping a precious toy. When finished, he gently stroked her, tender and affectionate. Now that the deal is done, you can be food for the dragon. Yi Piaoling, you really know how to play games. After speaking, Emperor Xiulan was about to throw her into the cage. Gay gay gee. The wicked dragon laughed loudly, excitedly opening its mouth, ready to catch her. Wait! At the last moment, Yi Piaoling shouted sharply, Regent Prince! What if I die and you fall asleep again? Without me, who will help you break the curse? The man's hand paused, and he looked down at her. Yi Piaoling lowered her voice and said, Your Highness, you hold a high position, and there are many people on the Liuli continent who want to kill you. Usually, they can't defeat you, but once you fall asleep, you become an easy target. Enemies take advantage of that to assassinate you. That's why you hid in that secret cave last time. She advised, I've helped you break the curse before, but I can't guarantee it won't flare up again. If you fall asleep again, you'll still need me. I can help you achieve freedom from this curse. Di Xiulan said coldly, You've already told me how to break the curse. Why keep you around? Yi Piaoling was at a loss for words and quickly explained, Yes, I said the curse requires 3 steps to break, a kiss, a shocked exclamation, and a mask. But these all require skill, not just anyone can succeed. Take the first step, for example, kissing someone who isn't breathing is incredibly stressful and leaves a deep psychological shadow. Ordinary people simply can't do it. The angle and pressure have to be precise, or they won't be able to wake you. And I'm the only one with experience. No one else can do it. So please, don't feed me to the dragon just yet. Di Xiulan pondered for a moment. You make a valid point. Yi Piaoling smiled. That's more like it. Di Xiulan said, Then I'll wait a few days. If the curse doesn't flare up again, then I'll feed you to the dragon. Yi Piaoling, you're really clever. The fierce dragon in the prison still posed expectantly, waiting to be fed. It curled its dragon whiskers, opened its mouth wide, and saliva dripped everywhere. As soon as Di Xiulan let go of Yi Piaoling, the dragon roared angrily. You all can wait, but I can't. Di Xiulan, this is your last chance. If you don't let me eat her tonight, don't expect to make a contract with me. Is that so? Di Xiulan smiled, waved his hand, and a sharp arc of light shot straight at the dragon. Ugh! The dragon shrank back into a corner, curling up and whimpering in pain. The fierce dragon was crying. Yi Piaoling, it looks so pitiful. Being able to slap such a huge dragon into tears made Yi Piaoling look at him with a bit more awe. What was even stranger was that he smiled the whole time he hit it, a gentle, lingering smile so unsettlingly sickly. Your Highness the Regent, since you're busy torturing the dragon, I won't disturb you, Yi Piaoling said politely. Di Xiulan responded coldly, his voice still soft and alluring. Hey! Your Highness, call me when you want to break the curse. Yi Piaoling laughed and turned to run off. Slipping away. Behind her, Di Xiulan's thumb twitched, and a strand of invisible spiritual energy quietly slipped into her body. Yi Piaoling didn't notice and left without a care. The fierce dragon poked its head out, sniffing. Why can't I sense her aura anymore? Did you put some kind of restriction on her to block her aura? To keep you beasts from always lusting after her, Di Xiulan said indifferently. I have a use for her. The dragon grumbled indignantly, that's really despicable. Di Xiulan ignored it and turned to order Liang Yun, send someone to follow her and see what she's doing with my belt. Yes. Yi Piaoling clutched the regent's belt excitedly and walked out of the Chonghua Palace. She had already collected 2 pieces of the regent's set, and it was almost effortless. At this rate, the full 4-piece set was just around the corner. By the time she returned to the Xiang residence, it was late at night, but the house was brightly lit. The young lady was about to restore her immortal veins but had mysteriously disappeared, gone for 2 days and nights without returning. Yi Liuzhai was so anxious he couldn't sleep and ordered people to search through the night. The gatekeeper's servant saw Yi Piaoling return and hurried into the courtyard to report, She's back. Master, the young lady is back. Madame Lu's face turned pale when she heard the news. She had hired assassins from the black market and sent them 2 nights ago to kill Yi Piaoling. The assassins disappeared afterward, and Yi Piaoling also vanished mysteriously. For 2 days, she'd been restless, praying Yi Piaoling was dead and gone. But now, she was alive and well. Such a lucky life, Madame Lu gritted her teeth and trembled as she collapsed back into her chair. Yi Liuzhai anxiously asked, Linger, where did you go? Yi Piaoling said, I went to Chonghua Palace. Chonghua Palace? Yi Liuzhai's voice trembled with fear. What were you doing there? Previously, Xiaoshu had been mysteriously abducted, severely injured, and thrown back, and now Yi Piaoling was involved with Chonghua Palace as well. Yi Liuzhai's heart was uneasy, fearing trouble. Yi Piaoling said, "Nothing major. The regent heard I was about to recover my spiritual power and asked me to come check on things. I spent 2 days cultivating there." "Really?" Yi Liuzhai was delighted. "Did you see the regent?" "Yeah." Yi Piaoling nodded. Yi Liuzhai asked in detail, "You stayed there to train. Did the regent ask you to stay?" "Yes," Yi Piaoling yawned. "I'm tired, I'm going back now." Yi Liuzhai nervously warned, "Linger, it's a great honor to know the regent, but be very careful with your contact with Chonghua Palace from now on. Don't offend him, that's someone you can't afford to provoke." "This I know," Yi Piaoling replied perfunctorily as she walked toward the Luoying courtyard. Yi Liuzhai watched her retreating figure, his heart racing. The eldest daughter of the family had actually caught the attention of the Chonghua Palace. From what she said, the regent prince might have even personally guided her in her cultivation techniques. What an incredible honor! As everyone knew, throughout the entire Dali kingdom, only the current emperor had ever been tutored by the regent prince. And now, he was willing to teach Yi Piaoling. Yi Liuzhai felt the future looked very promising. He immediately instructed the family servant, "Quickly bring out the Dongshan ginseng root. Deliver it to Linger first thing tomorrow morning. She's been training hard these past few days and needs to replenish her strength." The servant asked, "Master, I've heard Dongshan ginseng is excellent for kidney health. Are you sure you don't want to keep it for yourself?" Yi Liuzhai hesitated for a moment but ultimately decided, "Give it to Linger." Having a daughter with outstanding celestial veins, valued by both the royal family and Chonghua Palace, how could they not benefit? Yi Liuzhai took a deep breath. This Dongshan ginseng root was flawless. Back in the Luoying courtyard, Yi Piaoling eagerly opened a drawer and placed the regent prince's belt beside her mask. "Tong Tong," Yi Piaoling called out. "You have a mysterious grand prize to distribute. Ding! Your silly reward has been issued." Accompanied by the system's voice, 2 golden, shimmering options appeared floating in the void before Yi Piaoling. One read culture, the other martial arts. 2 grand prizes, but the host can only choose one. Only one? Yes. Without hesitation, Yi Piaoling selected martial arts. Culture was useless to her, martial prowess was what truly mattered. Her finger tapped on martial arts, golden light flashed, and it pierced into the center of her brow. In an instant, invisible true energy flowed within her body. She felt a tidal wave of martial skill surging through her body light as a swallow, strength overflowing. Taking a deep breath, she stepped out the door and looked up at the high eaves. Trusting her instincts, she leapt up gracefully and landed lightly on the rooftop. Wow! Yi Piaoling was thrilled. This was the legendary lightness skill. It felt absolutely exhilarating. With a smile, she lightly tapped her toes and elegantly landed from the roof, moving as lightly as the wind. The system proudly said, "Host, isn't this reward pretty good?" Yi Piaoling replied excitedly, "It's amazing." She jumped back onto the eaves, changed her stance, and dashed across the rooftops, savoring the thrill of wall running. This was the kind of flair you only saw in martial arts dramas. After playing for a while, she grew a bit tired. Standing at the corner of the eaves, looking out at the lights of the Yi residence, she asked smoothly in the wind, "Tong Tong, what's next for the regent prince's 4-piece set?" The system answered, "The regent prince's bathrobe." Bathrobe? Yi Piaoling was startled, slipped, and fell from the rooftop. At Chonghua Palace, a secret guard knelt at the foot of the steps to report. "My lord, the eldest Miss Yi." The guard's expression was complicated as he spoke honestly. After returning to the residence last night, she kept hopping on the roof, jumping up and down repeatedly for half an hour. In the end, she stood on the highest eave, shouted once, and jumped off. Emperor Xiulan asked calmly, "Did she die from the fall?" "No," the guard replied. Afraid of disturbing her, no one dared approach. It looked like she didn't want to live, but she lay on the ground for a while, then came to and later went inside to sleep. After finishing, the guard couldn't help but add, "Miss Yi definitely has some mental issues." Liang Yun nodded in agreement nearby. Listening to the description, it really sounded like she was crazy. Emperor Xiulan asked, "Liang Yun, what's your take?" Liang Yun thought for a moment and said, "My lord, I see 2 possibilities. 1, she truly is mentally unstable, and her desire for your belt is a pathological symptom. Her repeated rooftop jumps were an expression of successful emotional release. Or 2, she's perfectly sane but pretending to be crazy to deliberately attract your attention. She's using unusual methods to tease you, and as far as I can tell, she's already succeeded in drawing your focus." A flicker of dark light passed through Emperor Xiulan's eyes. He understood her origins but couldn't grasp her behavior. What exactly did this otherworldly soul, who had taken over a body with lost celestial veins, intend to do? Yi Piaoling sat at the table, dark circles under her eyes, eating. She had trouble sleeping last night, a rare occurrence. A bathrobe was the garment worn after bathing. Mask, belt, bathrobe. Each item was more difficult than the last. What could the final piece be? She couldn't imagine. At least by the bathrobe stage, the regent prince was already completely undressed. Tonzi, I'm afraid I can't finish this mission, Yi Piaoling said dejectedly. I feel like the last item is going to be really tough. Dear host, don't lose heart. First get the regent prince's bathrobe. It comes with even more surprising rewards than martial arts. Yi Piaoling perked up at the system's words and thought, I shouldn't worry about the future. Strategic foresight isn't my style. For now, I just need to get the bathrobe. This is paragraph 18 of 27. Please follow your logic to process the following content. Keep the original paragraph structure, line breaks, and overall layout intact. Return only the processed result. She smiled to herself. He didn't use me to feed the dragon, which means he knew his sleeping curse would flare up again. The Chonghua Palace would come to me to lift the curse, so I only needed to offer a bathrobe as payment. Although Chonghua Palace might find me a bit odd, as long as I completed the task and got the reward, other people's opinions didn't matter. Yi Piaoling decided to wait patiently. A few days later, a maid suddenly knocked on the door. Miss, second miss is here to see you. It was the original owner's half-sister, Yi Shangxiang. This sister was quite strange. After the original owner lost her powers, she often came to visit, always acting mysteriously. Yi Piaoling opened the door. Yi Shangxiang carried some pastries and greeted, Sister. Yi Piaoling smiled and pulled her inside. Yi Shangxiang placed the pastries on the table and said, I made these myself. I hope you like them. Yi Piaoling smiled warmly, thank you, how could I dislike them? Lowering her head, Yi Shangxiang spoke softly, actually, I came today because there's something I'm embarrassed to say. Yi Piaoling urged, go ahead. She sensed Yi Shangxiang had been holding back for a long time and was finally willing to speak. Biting her lip, Yi Shangxiang whispered, it's about Huiying. Could you let me have Huiying? Yi Piaoling was surprised. Yi Shangxiang had made up her mind, I brought Huiying into the Yi household. 3 years ago, I was attacked by bandits, and he saved me. He didn't have a fixed place to stay, so I appointed him as a secret guard for the Yi family. Unexpectedly, after his patrol, he was assigned to Luoying courtyard. After you lost your powers, Huiying was the only one in Luoying courtyard. I felt awkward asking for him, so I never mentioned it. Yi Piaoling understood now Yi Shangxiang liked Huiying. With Huiying's looks, he'd definitely be a trending star in the modern world. It was normal for Yi Shangxiang to like him. Grasping Yi Piaoling's hand, Yi Shangxiang pleaded, Sister, you're about to regain your powers. You can have any guard you want. One more or less won't matter. We're sisters, please do this for me. Yi Piaoling sighed, understanding her feelings but disliking being morally pressured. Huiying was a person, not an object to be handed around casually. Besides, whether he wanted to go or not was uncertain. After thinking it over, she said, Huiying is a bit odd. He stays in Luoying courtyard because it's quiet. If I take him, I'll treat him well, even raise his salary and make him head of the guards. Yi Shangxiang was eager, Sister, please make this happen. Yi Piaoling considered it. Since Yi Shangxiang truly liked Huiying and he had saved her before, if Huiying agreed, it could be a good match. She said, alright, I'll call him now. If he's willing, I'll talk to father and have him transferred to your place. Great, great, Yi Shangxiang said excitedly but nervously, with your order, he'll definitely agree. Soon, Huiying was summoned. Miss, any orders? Yi Piaoling smiled, good news. You're getting a promotion and raise. Ha? Huiying frowned. Miss, a raise? Not from me. From second miss, Yi Piaoling pointed to Yi Shangxiang. Starting today, you'll serve in her courtyard. She's in need of a head guard. Huiying fell silent. He turned, picked up a brick, and walked up to Yi Piaoling, raising it high. Yi Piaoling stepped back, alarmed. What are you doing? Huiying said slowly and clearly, if you don't want me anymore, then please kill me with this brick. Yi Piaoling was speechless. She had thought he meant to hit her. Forcing a smile, she said, I'm trying to secure a better future for you. Huiying sobbed, Miss, I don't want high rank or riches. I just like Luoying courtyard. If you force me to leave, it's like asking for my life. Yi Shangxiang blushed and called out anxiously, Huiying, you saved my life. Come to me, and I promise I won't treat you badly. Huiying said coldly, I saved you, but not just for you. I'd save anyone. You shouldn't force me to go nor repay kindness with ingratitude. Yi Shangxian was speechless, her face turning pale, tears welling in her eyes. Hu Ying then knelt down, crying, "Miss, if I make mistakes, just tell me. Please don't send me to someone else." Unable to hold back, Yi Shangxian covered her face and ran away crying. Yi Piaoling watched her retreating figure, feeling utterly helpless. True love is hard to hold on to. Looking down to see Hu Ying still crying, Yi Piaoling sighed, "Get up." Hu Ying stood reluctantly, tossing away the brick, and smiled, "Miss, I meant every word." Yi Piaoling rubbed her temples, troubled. Since Hu Ying didn't want to go to Yi Shangxian, she couldn't force him. She hoped Yi Shangxian wouldn't be too hurt because of this. Yi Shangxian left Luoying courtyard, sobbing and gasping for breath. Hu Ying's refusal left her heartbroken and embarrassed. She hadn't told Yi Piaoling that she had secretly sent maids multiple times to invite Hu Ying, only to be rejected. She had thought Hu Ying's refusal was because Yi Piaoling hadn't agreed. This is paragraph 19 of 27. Please see the adapted content below, preserving the original paragraph structure, line breaks, and overall layout, while making it suitable for American readers. Today, summoning all her courage to ask, she was met with a harsh rejection. Yi Shangxian walked away, crying. "Oh? Second miss, did something sad happen? Crying so pitifully?" Concubine Lu approached with a sarcastic sneer. Yi Shangxian had always feared Concubine Lu. Though Lu had lost favor, that fear lingered. She bowed politely, intending to leave. But Concubine Lu grabbed her, shooed away her maid, and whispered coldly, "You just came from the Falling Flowers courtyard, right? You don't go there for the eldest miss, but for that handsome secret guard by her side." "Don't say things you can't prove," Yi Shangxian stammered, trembling. "Whether it's true, you know in your heart," Concubine Lu smiled. "Judging by how upset you are today, you probably went to ask for him and got refused, right? The eldest miss won't let him go?" Yi Shangxian shook her head, whispering, "He's the one who won't agree." "Foolish girl. You really think that sharing your feelings with others will make him care?" Yi Shangxian looked confused. "What do you mean?" Concubine Lu sneered, "Haven't you ever wondered? When the eldest miss became incapacitated, why did that fox shadow, her secret guard, stay by her side?" Yi Shangxian didn't understand. "Why?" Concubine Lu chuckled darkly, "A single man and woman living together for so long, can't you imagine what kind of relationship they might have?" Yi Shangxian was shocked. "You mean, that secret guard is handsome and strong, you can see that, yet the eldest miss can't? I've heard she treats him well and grants his every wish. They've been secretly involved for a long time." "Impossible." Yi Shangxian shook her head, fear creeping into her voice. "When I went today, the eldest miss even said that as long as the fox shadow agreed, she'd give him to me. She even asked him that in front of me. That was all an act." Concubine Lu sneered. "While you cried your heart out, they were laughing behind your back at how foolish you are." Yi Shangxian froze. Images of the fox shadow leaning against Yi Piaoling flooded her mind. She pressed her lips tightly, tears streaming down. She whispered to herself, "What should I do? I really like the fox shadow." Concubine Lu smiled, "There's a way, if you're willing." "What way?" Yi Shangxian asked anxiously. Concubine Lu said, "There are only the two of you young ladies in the Yi mansion. If you get rid of her, her secret guard will naturally be yours." "You want me to kill someone?" Yi Shangxian said, terrified. "No need for you to do it yourself. Just follow my plan, and I guarantee she'll disappear from this world." "No," Yi Shangxian shook her head, "she's my sister. I can't harm her. You were the one who suggested she become a nun in the first place. Don't you want her gone? You thought that if she left, the secret guard would be yours, but she came back." Concubine Lu spoke bluntly. "If you have a target, stop pretending to be the good one." Yi Shangxian lowered her head, silent for a long time, then softly asked, "What do you plan to do?" Concubine Lu said, "Tomorrow, you invite her to Taiping Lake. Leave the rest to me." "Go boating?" "Yes. The eldest miss can't swim. She almost drowned in the lotus pond before. You spent time in the countryside as a child and are a good swimmer. Just get her to go boating. Once you're in the middle of the lake, the boat will leak and sink. You just jump into the water to escape." Yi Shangxian hesitated. Concubine Lu urged, "Don't hesitate. Only you can do this. If anyone else invites her, she'll definitely bring the fox shadow along. But you're different. She fears you'll take the fox shadow away, so she'll keep him at home. That's when I can make my move." At the mention of the fox shadow, Yi Shangxian's expression shifted slightly. After a long pause, she bit her lip and nodded softly. That night, thunder roared and lightning flashed as Dali Imperial City was struck by a once-in-a-century storm. The heavy rain poured all night, rivers rose, and low-lying areas flooded severely. Inside the Chonghua Palace, Liang Yun urgently reported, "My lord, the heartbreaking azure dragon is missing." Emperor Xiaolan frowned. "Oh?" Liang Yun continued, "Last night's heavy rain flooded the underground palace. This morning's inspection showed the prison intact, but the heartbreaking azure dragon vanished without a trace. All we found was this." He handed over a tiny black scale, no bigger than a fingernail. Liang Yun said, "This scale is too small to be a dragon scale. Dragon scales are much larger." Emperor Xiaolan sneered, "It is." The scale crumbled into powder between his fingers. Liang Yun looked puzzled. "But this is clearly a fish scale." Emperor Xiaolan said, "The heartbreaking azure dragon was once a carp." He closed his eyes and said, "To break free from my ceiling, it damaged its own vitality and turned into a fish, escaping with the floodwaters." Liang Yun immediately understood. No wonder the giant dragon suddenly disappeared. It turned into a fish and fled with the currents. "I'll lead the search at once," Liang Yun said urgently. "A fish? Where do you plan to look for it?" Emperor Xiaolan asked lazily. "Though it will be difficult, I'll do my best." "No need." Emperor Xiaolan leaned back comfortably and closed his eyes. "Let it taste life as a fish. When its power recovers and it turns back into a dragon, I'll deal with it then. What if someone catches it to make soup? That would actually be its luck." Liang Yun sighed quietly. Indeed, for this troublesome azure dragon, it's better to become fish soup than to serve its master under a tense contract. Luoying courtyard. In the afternoon, Yi Shangxiang arrived. Yi Piaoling was a bit surprised. She thought Yi Shangxiang would be heartbroken and sad after yesterday's events, but to her surprise, she came again today. "Sis, I was too abrupt yesterday," Yi Shangxiang said softly, head bowed. "You won't laugh at me, right?" "Of course not." Yi Piaoling patted her. "It's good that you've come to terms with it. There are good people everywhere in the world." Yi Shangxiang nodded and chatted a little more before saying, "Sis, I heard last night's heavy rain raised the water level of Taiping Lake quite a bit. Are you free today? Let's go play there." "Go boating?" Yi Piaoling raised an eyebrow, looking at her. Yi Shangxiang grew nervous and quickly explained, "Taiping Lake is lively today. The rising water brought many rare fish and shrimp. Lots of people went fishing and returned fully loaded early this morning." Yi Piaoling smiled. "Great, let's go together then." Only then did Yi Shangxiang relax. Yi Piaoling changed into light clothes and asked Hu Ying to bring a fish basket. Hearing that Taiping Lake was rich in aquatic life, she hoped to catch some big crabs or small crayfish. Hu Ying said, "Miss, I have to go with you. Taiping Lake is deep and tricky, and there are many people. You could get into trouble alone. My job is to protect you. I can't let anything happen to you. I won't feel at ease if I don't come along." Yi Piaoling replied, "No need. You stay home and rest." Hu Ying agreed, "All right." Yi Piaoling chuckled quietly. Hu Ying was really straightforward. After all, since Yi Shangxiang invited her, meeting Hu Ying again might be awkward. Better to let Hu Ying stay home. The two took a carriage to Taiping Lake. The heavy rain had raised the water level, creating a vast, misty expanse. Fishing and pleasure boats dotted the water. Yi Piaoling looked around with great interest. Yi Shangxiang, however, was uneasy, clutching her handkerchief tightly. Her heart pounded like a drum as she slowly guided Yi Piaoling toward a shallow cove where boats could dock, following their plan. A colorful boat was already waiting there. The boatman called out, "Two young ladies, want to take a boat ride?" Yi Shangxiang's eyes fixed on the colorful gourds hanging under the canopy, the signal agreed upon with Lady Lu. Once Yi Piaoling got on that boat, there would be no getting off. Yi Shangxiang hesitated for a long time before cautiously asking, "Sis, shall we take the boat?" "Take the boat?" Yi Piaoling hesitated. Suddenly, she stared at Yi Shangxiang sharply. "You're acting strange. You must be hiding something from me." Yi Shangxiang was terrified. Yi Piaoling's gaze was so piercing it seemed she'd seen right through everything. Stammering, Yi Shangxiang said, I. Yi Piaoling suddenly burst out laughing and patted her shoulder. "Whatever it is, we'll talk about it when we get home. Since we're out, let's just have fun." Yi Shangxiang was helpless. She had nearly been scared out of her wits, but it turned out Yi Piaoling was just joking. With that, Yi Piaoling strode toward the boat. Yi Shangxiang was extremely nervous, feeling both scared and guilty. She whispered, "Maybe we shouldn't take the boat after all." "Why not? Let's have some fun." Yi Piaoling jumped onto the boat, waving at her. Yi Shangxiang took a deep breath, thinking that since Yi Piaoling was the one who took the initiative, it was probably her fault. With that thought, her guilt eased considerably. Once the sisters settled in, the boatman began rowing, slowly heading toward the center of the lake. Yi Piaoling gazed at the water. After the storm, the lake was crystal clear, and fish swam among the aquatic plants. Unconsciously, the little boat reached the heart of the lake. Yi Piaoling was focused on the fish below when she suddenly heard a crack. Turning around, she saw a plank on the bottom of the boat had come loose, and water was rushing in fast. "The boat's leaking," the boatman shouted. The boat began to sink. Yi Shangxiang was terrified. "What do we do?" The boatman ignored them and jumped into the water, disappearing beneath the surface. Yi Shangxiang's face turned pale. Though she had anticipated something might go wrong, panic still gripped her. The boat was already halfway submerged. Yi Piaoling frowned and looked at Yi Shangxiang. "I remember you can swim, right?" Yi Shangxiang dared neither admit nor deny. She backed away nervously, wanting to keep her distance, afraid she'd be grabbed if she fell into the water. Yi Piaoling said, "Since you can swim, I'm not going to worry about you." With that, she kicked off her shoes and cloak, then dived into the water, swimming effortlessly. She had won awards in swimming competitions back then, and swimming was her favorite hobby. She never expected to still be able to swim after transmigrating. Yi Shangxiang stared in disbelief. How was this possible? Yi Piaoling was terrified of water and supposedly couldn't swim. Yet now, she moved skillfully in the water, changing strokes with ease. As the boat sank faster, Yi Shangxiang hurriedly jumped in and started swimming toward shore. Yi Piaoling was already well ahead of her. The place where the boat sank was far from shore. Yi Piaoling was in no hurry. She held her breath and dived underwater. The underwater scenery was beautiful, sparkling waves, fish and shrimp swimming in pairs. Suddenly, a lone little fish swam against the light. Yi Piaoling reached out and caught it. It was a small black carp, about the size of her palm, ugly-looking and probably without a mate. The fish struggled and jumped in her hand, trying to escape. Yi Piaoling smiled, surprised to have this unexpected catch after falling into the water. She swam toward the shore, holding the fish. The carriage of the Yi family was parked by the lake, and the servants were shocked to see the young lady emerge from the water. "Miss, you." "I'm fine, and I even caught a fish." "Hurry and bring the fish basket." The servants mechanically fetched the fish basket. Yi Piaoling placed the fish inside. The carp flailed and jumped, unwilling to be caught. Yi Piaoling laughed and looked at it. "Good luck tonight, you're my dinner. All other fish have mates, but you don't." The malicious Sanglong, who had transformed into a carp, was nearly breaking down inside. It had just turned into a fish and hadn't recovered its powers yet, stunned at Yi Piaoling's actions. Taking advantage of its distraction, Yi Piaoling had already. Yi Piaoling gripped the fish tightly in her hand. She carried the fish basket and got into the carriage. After a long while, Yi Shangxiang swam over, gasping for breath, her forehead drenched in cold sweat. The distance was too far, she had almost exhausted herself and barely made it ashore. The servants hurriedly helped her into the carriage. Yi Piaoling had already wrung out her clothes and sat inside. Yi Shangxiang didn't dare look at her, unsure how she suddenly learned to swim and too afraid to ask. She sat nervously beside her. The carriage moved slowly, and Yi Piaoling remained silent, her expression thoughtful. Just as they neared the Yi estate, she suddenly spoke. She said firmly, "I've known for a while today's boat incident was your doing. You know I can't swim and wanted to use this chance to harm me." Yi Shangxiang was stunned, her face draining of color. Yi Piaoling grabbed her clothes, glaring at her. "The assassination attempt a few days ago, was that arranged by you too?" Yi Shangxiang cried out, "That really wasn't me. Not that time, but this sinking today, was it you?" Yi Piaoling raised an eyebrow. Yi Shangxiang panicked. Yi Piaoling sighed. The boat was clearly tampered with. She had been unsure if Yi Shangxiang was responsible. After all, she was usually timid and cautious. But after just a few probing words, Yi Shangxiang slipped up. Terrified, Yi Shangxiang began to cry softly. This really wasn't my idea." Yi Piaoling asked, "Then whose was it?" Yi Shangxiang refused to say, only sobbing. Yi Piaoling sighed and loosened her grip. "You tried to stop me from boarding earlier. I thought you had a conscience. If you tell me who's behind this, I won't hold it against you. But if you don't, you'll have to take the blame." Yi Shangxiang's face turned pale. After hesitating for a long time, she whispered, "It was Aunt Lu. She told me to meet you on the boat, saying that would let Fox Shadow get close to me. I was confused and just followed her." Yi Piaoling understood. Aunt Lu had orchestrated this conspiracy, using Yi Shangxiang to harm her. The previous assassination attempt was probably Aunt Lu's doing as well. Yi Piaoling was silent for a moment, then slowly said, "Fox Shadow stayed in the Falling Blossom courtyard not because of me, but because he has his own plans. I'm in a good mood today, so I won't blame you. But you better be careful." Yi Shangxiang's lips trembled as she nodded repeatedly. The carriage arrived at the Yi mansion. Yi Piaoling got out, and before leaving, she looked back and said, I advise you to stay away from Aunt Lu. Don't wait until she harms you before regretting, it'll be too late then. Yi Shangxiang sat inside the carriage, dazed and pale. Yi Piaoling returned to the falling blossom garden carrying the fish basket. Fox Shadow came up to her, Miss, did you have fun today? I missed you so much. Yi Piaoling rolled her eyes. You're getting more and more puzzling. Besides causing trouble, what else can you do? Fox Shadow smiled, I can do plenty. What do you want me to do? Yi Piaoling snorted, there are 2 things I need you to handle right now. Fox Shadow, please, just say the word. Yi Piaoling said, first, find out what Aunt Lu is up to. See if there's anything unusual at the Wenxiang courtyard lately. Aunt Lu has tried to harm me twice, I can't just sit back. Fox Shadow grinned, no problem. I'll talk to the maids at Wenxiang courtyard and get the information by tomorrow night. Yi Piaoling nodded approvingly. Second, take this fish to the kitchen and have them make a braised carp. Fox Shadow took the fish basket. The carp inside was still alive, its tail thrashing angrily. Yi Piaoling said proudly, I caught this fish with my own hands. Fox Shadow frowned, Miss, this fish is pretty small. Is it enough for a meal? This is content segment 22 of 27. Please process the following text according to your logic. Keep the original paragraph structure, line breaks, and overall layout. Return only the processed result. Yi Piaoling smiled and said, although it's small, it looks quite nutritious. Maybe eating it can help me live longer. Koi fish was speechless. Fox Shadow suggested, Miss, how about we raise it first, let it grow bigger, then eat it? Koi fish agreed, living one more day is one more day. Yi Piaoling disagreed, black koi are ugly and small. Just kill it and eat the meat. She sneered, if it were a colorful koi, I'd be willing to raise it. Just then, Fox Shadow exclaimed, Miss, look. Yi Piaoling looked down, and the black koi in the fish basket had transformed into a golden-bodied, red-spined, dazzling colorful koi. This, she stared at the koi in surprise. If you had looked this beautiful earlier, you wouldn't have had trouble finding a mate. She stood there for a while, blinked, and tentatively said, if your tail looked like a rainbow skirt, I'd keep you. The mischievous Sanglong immediately transformed its tail into a flowing, colorful skirt, radiating celestial aura. Inwardly, it was furious. I'm an ancient great demon, and now I have to wear a skirt just to survive. Yi Piaoling didn't notice its humiliation and excitedly said, Fox Shadow, I've caught a treasure. This must be the legendary immortal fish that grants wishes. Fox Shadow was shocked, immortal fish? Yes. It changes its skin at will, so it must have boundless magic. Yi Piaoling began to tell a story. Haven't you heard of the fisherman and the golden fish? The fisherman caught a golden fish but didn't kill it. The fish granted him a series of wishes, but because he became greedy, he lost everything. Fox Shadow realized, so this colorful koi can grant wishes too? Definitely. Yi Piaoling nodded. Fox Shadow asked, what wish do you want to make? Yi Piaoling smiled, that's a secret. She urged Fox Shadow to get fish food, no way to neglect an immortal fish. Fox Shadow nodded and went to find some. Yi Piaoling prepared a fish tank, filled it with water, and placed the colorful koi inside. The moment the koi hit the water, it immediately became lively. Yi Piaoling excitedly carried the fish tank into her room, closing doors and windows tight. She solemnly said to the koi, immortal fish, I know your magic is boundless. Whatever I wish for, you can make it happen. I won't be greedy, just this one small wish. If you help me, I promise to honor you as my ancestor. She lowered her voice, winked, and said, I want the Regent Prince Di Xiulan's bathrobe. Can you get it for me? The koi was silent for a moment, then slowly flipped over, belly up, floating motionless on the surface. Fox Shadow returned with fish food and was shocked to see the koi. Miss, it just hasn't been long, why does it look dead? Yi Piaoling calmly said, don't panic. I think it's just floating on its back. Fox Shadow said, it's turned white, only dead fish turn white. Did you make a wish that was too much? Yi Piaoling acted upset, impossible. I only made a small wish. How could it have killed it? Maybe it's just changing position or fainted from hunger. Some food should help. She took the fish food and poured it into the tank. The fish food was made of cornmeal. As soon as she added a large amount, the water instantly became murky. The next second, the koi suddenly flipped over and frantically swam around. It's a perfectionist, it absolutely wouldn't eat such low-quality feed or tolerate the dirty environment. Yi Piaoling laughed, see, it was hungry. It gets this excited just seeing food. Fox Shadow frowned and muttered, I don't think it's happy. Yi Piaoling said, enough. Go quickly to Lady Lu and find out everything she's up to. I want to know all her moves by tomorrow night. Yes. Fox Shadow obeyed and left. After Fox Shadow left, Yi Piaoling looked at the koi and smiled. You're tired today. I won't bother you. I'll come back tomorrow to make my wish. With that, she turned and left. The koi floated alone in the cornmeal soup, looking messy and disheveled. That night, the mischievous Sanglong used its remaining magic to send a dream to Yi Piaoling. In the dream, a big fish floated before her eyes. You are that colorful koi. Yi Piaoling was delighted. So you really are an immortal fish. What's your name? The koi answered, Huoxin. Huoxin? Yi Piaoling frowned. That name doesn't sound very good. Who are you calling a human? The koi snapped angrily. I'm a great demon, how can I be compared to humans? Yi Piaoling was helpless. Alright, demons and humans look down on each other. I get it. She politely apologized. Sorry, you're not human. The koi proudly said, good that you understand. Yi Piaoling said, then I'll call you Huahua from now on. Whatever you like. The koi didn't care about the name and continued, I sent you the dream to remind you to change my water, make it clean. Change the water? Yi Piaoling was puzzled, there's still fish food in it. Wouldn't that be wasteful? I don't eat fish food, the koi said disdainfully. Don't eat fish food? Then what do you eat? Yi Piaoling asked. The koi fish sneered coldly but didn't answer. Wait until I regain my true form, then you'll see what I eat. The first thing I'll eat is you. Yi Piaoling asked anxiously. I'm asking you. Tell me what you eat so I can prepare. The koi said, forget it. I don't eat mortal food. Just keep the water clean, that's enough. You can't not eat. Yi Piaoling said. People need food like iron needs steel. I'm not human, the koi roared angrily. Yi Piaoling sighed helplessly. Don't use being human to insult yourself. Sorry, I promise I'll take care of changing the water. She rubbed her hands together and smiled. But I do want you to help me with something. I want the regent prince's bathrobe. The koi was silent for a moment. Unable to help herself, she asked, why? No reason, Yi Piaoling said. Just consider it a quirky preference of mine. The koi was speechless. After a while, it said, that wish will work. Pick another one. Yi Piaoling was disappointed and muttered, if you can't even get me a bathrobe, I really doubt your abilities. Fine, I'll choose something easier. The koi said, go ahead. Yi Piaoling said seriously, I want to eat braised carp. The koi's heart raced and it immediately said, the bathrobe is a small matter to me, but I'm injured and my magic is limited. You'll have to wait until I recover before I can get it for you. Okay. Yi Piaoling clapped her hands. I knew you could do it. The koi said, it's a deal. Now go change the water. Yi Piaoling said, I'll do it as soon as I wake up. Hearing this, the koi ended the dream immediately to make her wake up. When Yi Piaoling woke up, she habitually turned over and wanted to keep sleeping. She slept until the next day, with the sun high in the sky. She sat up, stretched lazily, and remembered she promised the koi she'd change the water. Quickly, she got dressed and went to check the fish tank in the hall. Inside the tank, the cornmeal had settled to the bottom, forming a thick yellow layer like sand on a beach. On the water's surface, the koi floated belly up, perfectly still, with an expression as if doubting its entire existence. Yi Piaoling patted the tank. Buddy, don't lose heart. I'm changing the water right now. After changing the water, she put the koi back in. The koi was numb. It stayed in the same position, floating face up. Yi Piaoling stared at it for a long time. It didn't move, like a meme floating on the water's surface. Tisk, fish really love posing like this. So stubborn. She sighed, shook her head, and went out. At lunchtime, Huiying returned. Yi Piaoling said, don't feed Huahua anymore. It doesn't eat. Huiying asked, Huahua? Yi Piaoling said, that koi. I named it Huahua. What do you think? Sounds nice, right? Huiying was speechless but relieved. Good thing it has a name. Yi Piaoling asked, any news from Lady Lu's side? She had caused trouble multiple times, it was time for payback. Huiying said, Lady Lu scolded the chancellor before but then sobered up. To accept punishment, she voluntarily gave up her monthly allowance and sent most of her servants away. She even blamed herself for being unfit as a mother and sent the young master Tian Bao to another consort to raise. Yi Piaoling frowned. Even her own son could be sent away? The act was ruthless. Huiying continued, the chancellor saw her sincere repentance and softened his attitude. Lady Lu suffered severe morning sickness, throwing up everything. Later she only wanted food from her hometown in Jiangnan. The chancellor agreed to bring a cook from her hometown. Yi Piaoling asked, has the cook arrived? Huiying said, yes. Lady Lu stopped throwing up after eating his food. The cook stayed at the Wenxiang courtyard, in charge of her meals. Yi Piaoling thought it over and sensed something was off. Sending away servants and son, then bringing in a young cook from her hometown. It seemed reasonable on the surface, but she had a strong gut feeling. Dad, you're turning your heart elsewhere. How old is the cook? What does he look like? Does he have any cultivation? Huiying answered, Tu San, in his 30s, big and burly, no cultivation, but knows some martial arts. Yi Piaoling laughed. Perfect. Tonight, she would go to Wenxiang courtyard and deliver a big gift to Lady Lu. At night, Yi Piaoling used her lightness skills to sneak quietly to Wenxiang courtyard. The courtyard was large, with Lady Lu's main house and several side buildings for servants. She jumped onto the roof and lifted a tile. Since learning martial arts, her hearing had become especially sharp. Under the moonlight, she faintly saw that Lady Lu's bed was empty. She wasn't surprised. Lady Lu's pregnancy was probably fake at this point. What she really needed was to get genuinely pregnant as soon as possible. Yi Piaoling knew that Liuzhai couldn't help with that. She had to find someone else. Like the distant hometown compatriot Tu San. Sending away servants and the son made it easier for Lady Lu to meet the hometown man late at night. But Yi Piaoling didn't know where Lady Lu would choose to meet and feared being discovered. She scaled the eaves of the Wenxiang courtyard, searching every room, but found no sign of concubine Lu. That was strange. Yi Piaoling frowned. Could she have hidden underground? Silently, Yi Piaoling slipped through several courtyards and came upon a rundown side yard. This was the most secluded corner of the Wenxiang courtyard, piled high with discarded junk and thick with dust. Hardly anyone ever came here. At the back of the yard stood a dry well. Her eyes locked onto the well, flickering. A sturdy rope hung from the pulley, extending down into the depths. Yi Piaoling sat by the edge of the well, listening to the sounds below. At the bottom, concubine Lu was cozying up to the cook, Tu San. Tu San laughed. After all this time, you still haven't forgotten this old friend of yours. Concubine Lu giggled. You scoundrel, I've been thinking about you all along. Better get yourself pregnant soon, so that green turtle prime minister can help me raise the son, ha. Yi Piaoling sighed silently. Concubine Lu really knew how to pick a spot hiding at the bottom of a well to have an affair. This deep well muffled all sound. If someone passed by at night and heard noises, they'd think it was haunted and run away. It was the perfect secret rendezvous. While marveling at this, she pulled out a dagger and cut the rope. The well was over 10 meters deep. Without the rope, there was no way to climb out. Concubine Lu and Tu San might be trapped in the well forever. Not long after, as the two amused themselves at the bottom, something suddenly fell, striking Tu San on the head. Startled, Tu San grabbed it and found it was a piece of the severed rope. He looked up, the pulley was empty, and in his hand was the very rope that had just broken. Concubine Lu asked irritably, "What's wrong?" Tu San's voice trembled. "The rope, it broke." She looked up in horror. The pulley was bare, the rope gone. "Where's the rope?" Her face paled, trembling. "How could it break? Who did this?" Tu San said, "I wasn't paying attention upstairs, I was busy with you just now." Concubine Lu panicked. "Without the rope, how will you get up?" Tu San was at a loss. "Should we call for help?" "No." Concubine Lu said anxiously, "Calling out would expose us. The Prime Minister will have us killed." Tu San patted the well wall, heart racing. Unable to climb out or call for help, they could only wait for death in the well. The next day, news of Concubine Lu and Tu San's disappearance spread throughout the Prime Minister's mansion. Servants whispered, speculating that Concubine Lu and Tu San had eloped, and that her pregnancy was a lie. The master's bedroom was barren. How could she be pregnant? Yi Liuzhai's face darkened with fury upon hearing this. Bastards! He flew into a rage, smashing his teacup, itching to personally kill that adulterous pair. "Master, please calm down." The household servants knelt, begging for mercy. Yi Liuzhai took a deep breath, then commanded angrily, "No word of Concubine Lu's disappearance is to be leaked. That cook Tu San post his wanted posters all over the capital, accusing him of stealing important items from the mansion. He must be captured." "Yes, sir."